right. I accidentally hit the transition button, so I guess we are live now. So
Come on, bro.
yeah,
Come
dog.
on,
I hit
bro.
it's enter on the number pad. I hit the enter button. It is what it is. Let me just let's get a live voice check for everybody. Cole, what's up, man? Let them know where you checking in from.
Hey, dog, this is so unprofessional, dog. This is so unprofessional. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Cole. See, this is why we looking for a new Cole. And then JP, can we get a mic check here?
This is amazing. I feel like I'm a part of the process now. We just
Yeah.
do it live, but we're here now.
Mm-hmm. Look, you also auditioned for Cole job. I don't know if you know this. But
Hey, wow, that's crazy.
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
yeah. It ain't just Arthur Smith. It ain't just Arthur Smith out here cold blooded in these streets,
Oh,
Cole. It
okay,
ain't just
okay,
Arthur Smith
Wow.
out
okay.
here. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We got a ton to talk about. But we got JP on. JP is a Jaguars fan. He's also just very knowledgeable about sports football itself. JP, man, I have had some choice words for your Jaguars over the last few weeks. I feel like Cove and I have had some choice words for your Jaguars. What do you feel at this moment as a Jaguar fan? Like where is the pride at? Where's the bass and the roar in the fan base right now?
Them jokers suck, dude. I'm sorry. You go from 8-3 and one game against Jake Browning from being the 1 seed in the AFC. The first time that you've done that since 1998. And now you're out of the playoffs, sitting at home because nobody knew how to tackle. Everybody forgot how to tackle. Defensive assignments were just abysmal. They couldn't stop the run after being really good at stopping the run in the first half of the season. That defense was held together by Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, and Foye Oluokun doing insane things. And when that didn't happen, everything else just fell completely apart. So everybody getting fired doesn't surprise me. What also doesn't surprise me is Press Taylor not being fired. Don't get me wrong. That dude sucks too. But the whole reason Doug Peterson got fired in Philly was because he insisted on keeping Press Taylor around. It's like
Oh.
it's so funny.
Oh, I
how
didn't
you
know it
just
was like that.
he continues to step on the Tom and Jerry rake of Press Taylor, and it keeps hitting him in the face, but he keeps stepping on it. Like it's like when you go to the blackjack table and you always go over, but it's like hit me, I'm here. You know, we're losing the mortgage, but I'm here. We're still out going to the table. It's it's disheartening because the issues that the Jaguars had last year were the same issues they had this year. So last year they were 29th in adjusted line yards, which is bad. This year they were 31st. So you went from bad to worse while not making any major changes. You tried to run it back and you got worse. They were also dead last in stuff rate, which means how many runs got stuffed at or behind the line of scrimmage. They were also last in that last year. So they tried to run it back with the hopes of the young guys developing, but didn't actually see everybody else around them got better. And while you stayed the same, you should have you went from a 9-8 team to 9-8. That was your entire plan in the offseason. You did not get better. This is the biggest offseason that I have personally seen as a Jaguars fan because you no longer have the leeway of Trevor Lawrence on a rookie deal or the AFC South is pretty weak. No, those dudes just beat you to win a division. The Texans, with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, won a division and are hosting a playoff game. The Colts almost won a division and got a home playoff game without their
Yeah.
rookie quarterback, who is insane. The Titans, I don't know what the Titans are, but they seem to kick our ass every time the games matter. So now this year was an organizational, coaching, and management failure. What are they going to do in the offseason to make sure these things don't happen again? You fired all the defensive staff, basically. You fired the running backs and offensive line coach. What's next? Something has to be drastically different about this team next year.
So going off of that, what do they do? Because like, do you fire Doug Peterson? Do you bring in a different defensive coordinator? Like what their problems seem so like squashed out between all, like, it's like, hey, you have a good run defense. Your secondary is trash. It's like, hey, your quarterback might be good. He might not. Like, it's all these issues are like, can you blame this on Doug Peterson? Is this really on Trevor Lawrence? Like, I just wonder where the source of all of these issues are, because like that's the thing with the Jaguars is that I look at them and I'm like, I don't know what their main problem is. I can just watch them and be like, hey dog, it's obvious there's a problem.
The main problem is Trent Baalke and the way that he built this team. You invested so much money into the defensive line and linebackers for them to not be good in the back half of the season. That reflects on you. You actively chose not to address the offensive line. You let Jawan Taylor walk. Anton Harrison has been great his rookie year, but you basically have a revolving door at left guard. The center is the worst center in football, and left tackle was between Cam Robinson, who got suspended first 4 games of the season, got hurt, was in and out of the lineup, and Walker Little, who was also in and out of the lineup playing guard or tackle. You knew that was a problem going in, and you seemed to not fix it. The Zay Jones contract, kind of weird. It was weird when they signed it, but it feels like schematically with the offense. The reason the offense last year was different than this one this year was because there was a lot more play action, a lot more verticality in the offense. And that's because Doug Peterson was calling plays and not Press Taylor. But you also don't have that guy who is the vertical threat. You have basically created this team on 10 to 15 yard. Like you basically created NFL DeMar DeRozan with mid-range jumpers. And you can live in the mid-range jumper area if you want to in the NFL. But if everybody's best routes come in the 6 to 10 yard range, you just have people overlapping. There is no space. You just constrict on everybody. The last play of the Titans game where the corner jumped the speed out, he knew that was coming because that's all the Jaguars run. They are a speed out team. And that's what their personnel is. They win in the in-between. They don't have a guy who is the vertical threat downfield. That's Zay Jones, who had knee and hamstring problems this year. And when he was out, they didn't have any verticality. When he came back, he clearly was not healthy. So to fix this, you have to go to Trent Baalke and be like, hey man, clean this up. You can't keep doing it the same way that you've done it before. You have to address the biggest issues, which lie in the offensive line, because Trevor has gotten hurt. Three like semi-major injuries over the span of like 6 games, and he rarely ever got hurt in the first 2 years beforehand. That's a problem. The offensive line's bad. Defensive line lacks depth. And really, that's across the entire defense. K'Lavon Chaisson is the 3rd pass rusher, and that dude stinks. He's the worst. He's the worst pass rusher I've ever seen in my life, man.
You should see the original K'Lavon Chaisson. Barkevious Mingo. Remember that line code?
Barkevious Mingo, baby.
Everybody in Cleveland saw K'Lavon Chaisson, and we were like, that's Barkevious Mingo in a different jersey, dog. That's the same exact thing.
And the crazy thing about it is when they picked him, everybody was like, really? Like, you picked him? Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And it does not help that Justin Jefferson got picked 2 picks after.
Who's the dude who ended up on the Buffalo Bills? Greg, the edge rusher.
Greg Rousseau.
Greg Rousseau. It was Greg Rousseau and K'Lavon Chaisson were like the 2 prospects I remember where people were like, well, somebody's got to take him. But like,
yeah, there was no reason for you to pick K'Lavon Chaisson in the 1st round. Like, that's not something that you have to do. Even the 9th pick, you pick CJ Henderson, who's no longer on the team.
Oh yeah.
And it just does not help that after K'Lavon Chaisson was picked, Justin Jefferson went at 22, Brandon Ayuk went at 25.
Ooh, those are good players, man.
Yeah, those are two pretty good players. I mean, shoot, even Jordan Brooks would have helped the linebacker unit. And that was, of course, a previous regime, but the constant missteps in the
Mhm.
personnel and getting personnel on this team has basically sunk in the easy years of the Trevor Lawrence experience in Jacksonville, where you had him on a rookie contract and you were supposed to use that time to surround him with the requisite talent needed for a good quarterback to develop into a great quarterback, or a great quarterback to develop into an even better one. And now you're kind of stuck in between, like, we don't have the guys and we're not sure Trevor is the guy, but I don't think it's as much a Trevor problem as it is a Trent Baalke and talent acquisition problem.
I tell
Okay,
you
I'm
what's the
glad you
most.
said that. I'm glad you said that, JP. I'm glad you said that because that's going to lead us into the conversation that we need to have. And it's the important conversation that we need to have about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Q, I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say when
What
we
am I
start this
about to say?
conversation. You know what you're about to say about Trevor Lawrence. Don't do that. We know what you're about to say.
I
But
don't have a issue with Trevor Lawrence as long as people are reasonable about where they put Trevor Lawrence.
before
Right?
we get to
Like,
that, before we get to you, let's ask JP before we get to you because we know what you're going to say. JP,
act like I'm about to rank him 32nd in the league or something like that. Like,
I ain't say that. I ain't say that, but we know how you feel.
yeah.
How you feeling about Trevor? Because me and Q have our thoughts about Trevor. And listen, before the season started, he was getting all the gas, like all the gas. ESPN had him top 5 AFC quarterbacks. Q brought up the video we did like months ago. I think it was in July, where we were like, "Hey, they ranked him over Lamar Jackson. That's nuts. That is he has done nothing to deserve something like that."
And
But
by
I
the
thought
way,
Trevor was still.
in that video, nobody was like making that point. Nobody was like, man, we really
It was
got him
just
ranked
me
over
and
Lamar.
Q.
They were like, hey, dog, we got him ranked over Aaron Rodgers. Like, what?
And me and Q were like, so we're not gonna talk about Lamar Jackson. We are Browns fans. We hate the Ravens, and we're like, you're not gonna talk about Lamar Jackson? You're not gonna talk about Lamar at all? Like
we
that.
got no reason to underestimate Lamar Jackson. None.
We know what he does. We know what that man can do. But I want to ask you this: how do you feel about Trevor going forward? Because now we're getting to the point where people are like, he may not be the guy. We may have gassed him up to be something that he's not. And they may need to consider trying to find another quarterback at some point. I'm not there, but I do want to know how you feel about it because you know more about the team than me and Q do.
So the best comparison that I've made, and it makes me sick to my stomach, is Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. And
Mm.
the reason I say that is because I still think Trevor Lawrence is a very good quarterback. I think the process this year that he showed was still very good. But I think what we have done is, like, when you're deemed a top prospect or you're a number one pick as a quarterback, you're supposed to immediately come in and drag a team to the playoffs. And to be fair, Trevor Lawrence did that last year. He dragged that team to the playoffs. Like, this was the exact same team last year. And again, I think people have forgotten the drive against Baltimore to win the game, the comeback against Dallas to win the game, the first Titans game, the second half of the Chargers game, and even going toe to toe with the Chiefs. And again, I think those that stretch of games kind of made everybody look at the Jaguars as a lot better than they actually were going into the offseason, because the quarterback made them a lot better than they actually were. I think
That's
Trevor
fair.
Lawrence makes the Jaguars a lot better than what the Jaguars are. But what happened in between last year and this year is when the margin for error becomes so thin for your quarterback that every negative play is a turnover, or like you cannot make this person right, then yeah, it's going to look really bad. I mean, there were miscommunications with Calvin Ridley that just looked like he was running one way, Trevor was throwing the other. People were slipping on routes. Nobody could block. And I think that's the biggest thing for the Jaguars. The Jaguars could not block, and they couldn't get into the things that they wanted to do. In the offseason, I believe they wanted to get into more 12 personnel. They wanted to get bigger, and they wanted to hit you in the face in the run game and use play action. But they couldn't do that because they couldn't block. Like, they were the worst team in the NFL when it comes to run blocking this year. I mean, it's them and like the Giants. So you went in knowing that this was a problem, didn't address it. And now you're expecting your third-year quarterback, who, while still is very good, still needs some development. I mean, the fumble problems are so goofy. It's just the goofiest fumbles at the goofiest times. Like, come on, man. Like,
Can we talk about that one fumble?
The Ravens one.
The Ravens one, I was like, oh my God, man,
Like
what are
he
you doing?
hiccuped. He went.
Oh my God.
Like, let the ball.
He tried to switch the ball in his hands and then just dropped. And I was like, oh my God. That is a microcosm of the Jaguar season this year. But I still believe that Trevor Lawrence is very, very good. But I think it's also good to be realistic about what quarterbacks, especially Trevor Lawrence, can do. Of course, he has made the Jaguars a lot better. He has elevated their ceiling. The reason they won 9 games is because Trevor Lawrence played well. The reason they lost 8 games is because Trevor Lawrence did not play well. So I think the margin for error needs to be widened a little bit for the Jaguars in the offseason when it comes to play calling, playmakers, protection. And that's not a bad thing. That's not an indictment on Trevor Lawrence. That's a thing every quarterback needs a little help, you know? Like, I'm not comparing them one-to-one because they are two totally different players, but we are seeing Patrick Mahomes stretch to his absolute limit by the playmakers not being up to snuff, the play calling being weird. Lamar, before he was with Todd Monken, you saw the margin for error stretch so wide that every negative play was a turnover. So I still think Trevor Lawrence is very, very good, but the discourse is going to be horrendous this year, and the Jaguars have nobody to blame for it but themselves.
You got somebody else to blame for it. Me. No.
Go ahead. But tell JP what you told me, how you feel about Trevor. Go ahead.
I feel like Trevor's just inconsistent. Like, I think we're trying to figure out all of these other reasons for it being the case. But if you look back at a lot of Trevor's work, it's always been kind of inconsistent. Like, he's always been the guy who's been capable of making you go, oh my goodness, like, look at what he's doing right now. And then there have been long stretches, even in his college career, NFL career, where you're like, hey man, what the fuck is Trevor doing? Like what is he doing out there? And 3 years into his career, like, at first we blamed this on Urban Meyer, which, I mean, fair enough. But I think Urban Meyer has gotten out these 3 years, like, so much better than he started, right? Like, from I don't know who Aaron Donald is and Ryan Day, beating Michigan that first year, to now, hey, nobody has done more by just being fired and out the way than Urban Meyer. Because now Ohio State fans like, damn, I want that old thing back. Like, already.
We ain't got to talk about that.
Ohio State fans is ready to have that old thing back. They can't wait. They like, man, give me Mike Vrabel. Give me something else. Get Ryan Day out of here. But
reading message boards was so funny. Because Texas A&M was like, yeah, let's bring in Urban Meyer. And I'm like, no, you don't want that. You don't have to
we gonna forget all the other stuff Urban Meyer be out here. We gonna forget Urban Meyer be out here calling like quarterback action. Like on 4th and 5. Like
it's not like he was bad like back in like 2018 or anything. We all saw it. Like they were bad in 2020. Like, that was a thing that we all saw with our 2 eyes. Like, we don't have to continue to do this.
We saw this man bring Tim Tebow out to be a blocking tight end. Like, we watched this stuff happen. And that's how fortunate he's been. The decisions and outcomes around him have been so unfortunate that people are like, hey, man, was he that bad? But in all honesty, right, like, we saw this with Trevor where we're like, okay, he's a little inconsistent. Even that first year with Doug Peterson, it was inconsistent, but we always write that off as first year in the offense, right? This year was a little inconsistent. And I agree with you. Some of this is because they're giving him no margin of error. But that's not what Trevor Lawrence was advertised to be coming out of college. He was supposed to be the margin of error maker, right? Like, he is going to give you the margin of error instead of relying on having a margin of error. And that's just not what we've been getting out of Trevor. And I think at this point, I look at him and go, he's one of those dudes where if he's hot, you don't want to play him. But if he's not, you might want him. right? Like that's what happened this year. He was kind of cold at the end of the season, and everybody in Cleveland was like, "Dog, we hope they beat the Titans. Like we hope they and like not just beat the Titans, sneak out with the victory." Like the way that game was going in the fourth quarter, I was like, all right, this is going perfectly for the Cleveland Browns because they about to sneak out of here with the victory, but clearly still have problems going on the offensive side of the ball, and we gonna be able to clean that up. But I think that's one of the things with Trevor Lawrence, and the big problem with the quarterback like that is when you have somebody there who you can't really trust year to year is going to be good or not, or going to be at some level of quarterback play, that makes that situation almost impossible to build around. Like, I think one of the things people get wrong with Baker Mayfield was like, it wasn't that Baker had a bad season. It's that every time you built this thing and said to Baker, hey, dog, all you got to do is be decent and hold it down, and we gonna do this thing, right? Like right now, the Browns are in the playoffs, looking very good with Joe Flacco. It's not because Joe Flacco is the second coming of Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. It's simply because Joe Flacco can hold that thing down. And the thing with Baker is Baker can have moments where he goes 22 for 22 and throws 5 touchdowns and a half of football, and you like, damn, who's that? That's the dude. And then there are moments where he throws 4 of them things in a half, or you lose a game where Lamar Jackson throws 4 of them things in a half.
No, don't you do this to me. Don't you do this to me. JP,
right?
JP, listen to me, dog.
And
listen
that
to me,
kind
dog.
of thing.
It broke me. It broke me to watch us lose to the Baltimore Ravens when Lamar Jackson played the worst football game of his life. And we still lost.
Was that in Cleveland?
Lost. Yes, bro.
And that's my big concern for the Jaguars going forward is like, Trevor is always going to be good enough to never justify quitting. But is he ever going to be consistent enough to build something serious around him? Or is this going to be like a once in, like kind of like the Chargers, like, every 4 years, every 2 years, or every 3 years, hey, we might make the playoffs. Like, I wonder if that's the situation with him.
So I think I agree with you on most of the things, especially the inconsistency. I think the ball placement has been kind of weird, especially this year. But I also would say I don't think the Jaguars have built around him very well at all. You know, I think Christian Kirk was a great signing. That's something that you had to do, and he very clearly loves throwing to Christian Kirk. Evan Ingram was good for the last 2 years. Outside of that, you haven't really done anything else. I think Calvin Ridley was a good signing. Calvin Ridley, in terms of numbers wise, he had one of the best individual seasons for a Jaguars receiver ever, which of course, like you can say, like, that's not much, but yeah, man, he's really good. But in terms of protection and play calling, it has clearly been like, there's been a lot left to be desired, especially up front. I think people are going to look at the sack numbers and be like, oh, he's not getting sacked that much. That's not because of the offensive line. That's because Trevor's pocket movement, he is avoiding catastrophe. And again, it goes to that margin of error. Like, he is widening that margin of error, but only a little bit. Again, it's the reason why I say it's Detroit Stafford, where you see the inconsistency, but you also see I get it. I get why this is the number 1 pick. I get why he's the franchise quarterback. But you were never consistent enough, and you were never consistent in building around him enough. And eventually, some offensive genius is going to be like, yeah, I'll take him. And I just have the worst feeling that Mike McDaniel is going to end up trading for Trevor Lawrence, and they're going to win a Super Bowl. And I'm going to be so sad because he goes a few hours down south and wins a Super Bowl from the AFC while the Jaguars are trotting out freaking Desmond Ridder, because that's what the Jaguars do.
Oh, come on, dog. Desmond Ridder ain't going to be in the league that long.
Come on, man. You know he's not going to be in the league. What you doing?
Hey,
it's going to be some new version of Desmond Ridder. It's going to be what, Spencer Rattler? Or
maybe he's a good hang.
Bo Nix, you know, maybe.
Oh my God.
Let's not disrespect Desmond like that, because I saw Nathan Peterman take a snap in a game on Sunday, and I was like, he's still in the league?
Hey, Nathan Peterman is better than Desmond Ridder.
Maybe Desmond Ridder's a good hang. Maybe the guys just like having him around. Maybe. maybe, you know,
I don't get that vibe at all with Desmond Ritter. Like,
maybe
that's the
he's
thing.
the one who, like,
I don't even think they like him like that because don't nobody be like going hard for Desmond. Like, none of those Atlanta Falcons. Let's jump to the Atlanta Falcons topic. None of those Falcons be out here riding for Desmond. They be like, they were like, I understand why Marcus Mariota went away and took that time to himself. Before they be like, y'all too hard on Desmond. Nah, they ready for Desmond to get out of there too. You know who's a good hang? Taylor Heineke, right? Like, I bet they kicking it with Heineke. Wait, you ever see Desmond Ritter and be like, that's a good hang? No. None of them dudes wanted to be around Desmond. No, you see, hey, Cole, you ever hear Jerome Ford get in the media and defend his boy from college?
No.
What about Sauce Gardner? You ever hear him be like, no, because you know what they think? The same shit that Atlanta think. Dog, if we had a better quarterback, we would have did some things in the playoff. That's what they thought in Cincinnati. That's what they thought in Atlanta. They tired of him, dog. They tired of nobody. The owner, Arthur Blank was like, well, it's clear to me that Desmond Ritter is deficient. Hey, that's not somebody people like. Okay, like
deficient. Deficient is crazy.
You can just say bad. It's fine to just say he's bad, but saying that somebody's deficient, like you will never get sufficient enough. You are always lacking.
Yeah, you just aren't good.
That would send me over the edge.
I have to send you back. Dog,
hey, bro, I'd have been okay if you just said I was ass. You called me deficient?
he gonna say needs improvement, leave some room for growth. No, he said deficient, which means there is no hope in improvement.
Talking about me like I'm a faulty iPhone. Like, come on, man. I'm a person.
It's deficient.
The Falcons are so wild to me because this is the third straight year that they have both gone 7-10 and will have the 8th pick in the draft. And that is a level of consistency that I, on one hand, applaud, but also laugh at. Because while you see that 7-10, you think, damn, with a good quarterback, that probably turns into like 9-8 or maybe 10-7, in a division where everybody stinks. Like you can make a run here, but the constant, like, again, I talked about with the Jaguars, like Doug Peterson stepping on the rake. That was Arthur Smith continuing to step on the rake. He stepped on the rake with Marcus Mariota, was bad, decided to hitch his wagon to Desmond Ritter, step on the rake.
Hey, dog, how bad do you got to be for your rake to be Desmond Ritter?
He chose that. He chose that rake.
Remember, I can understand why Doug Peterson's rake is Press Taylor because he has achieved a level of success that not very many coaches have, that breeds a level of confidence and bad decisions that we are not familiar with, right? Hey, Desmond Ritter being your rake is crazy, though.
Arthur Smith, when he was in Tennessee, his quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. And of course, Ryan Tannehill was pretty good with Arthur Smith, but Arthur Smith has never seen a legitimate quarterback in his room. He's always like, I'll be fine with Arthur. I'll be fine with Ryan Tannehill. And the funniest thing is, entering the draft, people ask Desmond Ritter who he thinks he plays like or who his comparison was. And this motherfucker said Ryan Tannehill. That's when I knew it was over.
He don't even believe.
That's when I knew it was over.
He don't believe in yourself.
Come on, dude.
You don't believe in yourself, bro.
Like your absolute
lie
best
to us
is
and say
Ryan Tannehill?
Lie to us and say Pat Mahomes, man. Come on.
Why? Ryan Tannehill.
Hey, here's how we knew Desmond Ritter was cooked. His draft comp was Marcus Mariota.
Done.
Like, not Marcus Mariota coming out of Oregon, not Pac-12 player. No, they was like, he's just like Marcus that Atlanta just signed. That Marcus Mariota, the one we found out about. That's who they compared him to. The one Marcus Mariota where we realize, hey man, Jameis Winston went number 1 overall in the draft, and we're not like, hey, you should have took this dude. Like that's the Marcus Mariota we copped him to. The one that makes us okay with Jameis Winston going number 1. Like that's him.
It's just hilarious because you could see like Bijan Robinson still finished with the Falcons rookie record for total yards from scrimmage this year. Drake London, I think, almost got 1,000 yards. Those guys are not bad. They don't have a bad roster.
Kyle Pitts down there somewhere, right? Like he got
Kyle Pitts is still there. He exists. Yeah. But the thing with Arthur Smith was instead of giving the ball to Kyle Pitts, he designs trick plays where Jonnu Smith is lined up in the backfield throwing the passes to McCole Pruitt while Kyle Pitts is blocking. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're constantly trying to outsmart everybody.
Got to catch him off guard.
When the smart thing is just throw it to the 6'6" guy. Like, you don't always have to try and revolutionize football.
Hey, JP, but they'll see that coming. If we throw the ball to our best players, they're gonna know what's happening.
Gotta keep guessing. Gotta keep guessing.
Kyle Pitts is
you know what we must do? We must draw up a play for our third string running back because they're never going to guess that we're going to throw to him, Hey,
That's right.
Look. This is not simple. You can't just give the ball to the best players on the team. No, we got to draw read options for Desmond Ridder. Like, that's what we got to do. We got to catch him off guard, baby.
Yeah, we're drawing up designed end arounds for Cordero Patterson and Jonnu Smith when you have Bijan Robinson, who you drafted because he could do what Cordero Patterson does.
And Cordero Patterson got signed in the middle of the season and got significant tick. And that's how I know there's a problem in Atlanta, dog. Like,
what are you doing?
He plays running back. Like, what? Why did he get tick on a team that got Bijan Robinson? Like, he got Algier. Like, all of these dudes, you like, they should never get tick over Bijan. They're like, nah, we need to split the carries with Bijan.
The fantasy football guys just don't know, man. I got to give the ball to Cordero Patterson so he can run for 2 yards. Bijan Robinson sitting over there just collecting dust midway through the season. I think there was a game where he just got benched after a fumble and then never went into the game again. And I'm like, dude.
Ridiculous.
Like, what are you doing? But the Falcons are honestly like, they're honestly
he's trying to coach like his Pee-wee League. I want you to sit down there and think about that fumble, Bijan.
Quincy, you mentioned a minute ago Jameis Winston, so I just have to shove this transition in here, which is, how did we feel about the end of the Saints Falcons?
Hey, can we talk about this? Hey, listen, bro. Jameis ain't do shit wrong. I don't care what nobody say. Jameis ain't do nothing wrong. Jameis ain't do nothing wrong, dog.
Jameis didn't do anything you shouldn't expect Jameis to do. Now, did Jameis do anything wrong? I don't know. It's hard for me to look at this in a right or wrong lens. I just look at this as like, hey, dog, why y'all act like y'all don't know who the fuck Jameis Winston is at this point? Like, we out here getting seriously mad at Jameis Winston when Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston. His Twitter name is JBooWins5. Okay, he has been on camera eating W's. Let's not even mention what almost cost him the #1 overall pick, which is a video of him saying something outrageously vulgar in the student recreation lounge. This is a dude who got caught stealing drinks from Burger King. You know how goofy of an individual you got to be to get caught stealing drinks from the soda fountain?
Hey, man, hey, you ain't even bring up the craziest thing he did. Hey, remember he was on crutches dancing in the video.
he tore his ACL like hours before, and he in the locker room dancing. Like,
look, I say all of this to say, Jameis Winston is an ultimate vibes guy. Hey. Which is to say that if there is a vibe in the room, Jameis ain't about to kill it being responsible. Okay, we know this.
In the vibe about good hands. We talked about good hangs. Jameis is a great hang.
All-time hang. All-time hang. They will try to run him out the league, but nah, somebody watch Jameis Winston end up in Cleveland next year. Right? Watch him. Because Deshaun Watson's like, hey, bro.
That would be the funniest quarterback room of all time.
Hey, they're going to ask him questions about Deshaun, and James like, hey, don't ask me nothing about that.
No, what Jameis is gonna do is say something that he probably should not say, but he doesn't. He means well. He means well. He just country.
He gonna try to make a point about individual change, but in the
He
most
just-
sloppy and egregious way
he just means
possible.
well.
We're like,
He
oh
just
god,
means well. But
we gonna have to come on this pod and talk about it too, and it's gonna be the worst decision we ever made.
Look, a Tiger can change it. He gonna be in there like, what do you think about Deshaun Watson and all this stuff? Hey, Tigers change their stripes. He went to Clemson. That seemed like a Tiger to me. Like what?
I'm like,
You know
Jameis,
what?
no, Jameis,
You know what?
no.
I can't even like. That is something that Jameis would say.
Yes.
That is 100% in
Yes.
the Jameis playbook.
Yeah.
I
Look,
100% believe that he has said that.
here's the thing. People act like we don't know who Jameis is, man. Jameis saw the vibe. The vibes were high. We whipping their ass. It's the Falcons. Hey, my homeboy need a touchdown to get this incentive. And a coach call in a victory formation play at the 1 yard line and tells him, don't do nothing, Jameis. And Jameis was like, but the vibe going this way. And look, Jameis is the dude that's going to jump into the pool because everybody wants Jameis to jump into the pool. Jameis is the dude that's going to do the wild thing because that's what the party demands Jameis does. He is a victim of that. And Jameis saw the vibe and was like, hey, I'm going to hand you this ball, dog. And look, shame on everybody else on the Saints because we can't trust Jameis to do things that Jameis wouldn't do. Everybody else knew Jameis was like that. Everybody else in that huddle knew Jameis was like that. And they knew. They wasn't talking Derek Carr that handed that ball off. But you know who they could? You know they could talk that into? Jameis. Hey, Jameis, they ain't listened to you all year, but you about to listen to them on this? Dog, you ain't about to do this for the boys? And Jameis like, yeah, fuck all that. We about to do this for the boys. Take this shit. And then he handed that ball off, and then he went and stood 10 toes down on in a post-game presser. Simply
That was the
on the
funniest
justification of, hey, this what the homies wanted. That's what he said in the presser. He's like, hey, I don't care what you think. The homies wanted this. That was the vibe. And are you one of the homies? No? Then I don't care. That's what we was doing right there. And if they wanted to do something about it, they should have let us get 41 points, which is just him talking shit at that point. Like,
So the funniest thing to me is Jameis is that kid who, when your mom would say, if all your friends jumping off a bridge, you gonna jump too? Jameis like, yeah, I'm gonna jump too.
it sounds like it's
Sure,
fun.
boys. Yeah, but
Might be
the
some water
funny-
down there. You don't know.
Of course. Like, if you're Dennis Allen, how do you come back next year? Nobody on that team listens to you. Nobody
Look,
wants.
it's not
They
that
said-
nobody listens to you if you're Dennis Allen. It's that people
Okay.
will listen to Jameis more than
That's
you.
the thing. Everybody listen to Jameis instead of you. How can you come back? How are you coming back as a head coach?
Hey,
you let
because-
Jameis like out-talk you.
Hey,
Jimmy Graham
Dennis Allen needs
immediately
to
went
be
on
more of a
IG.
vibes guy.
Jimmy Graham went immediately on IG. He was like, Jameis Winston is the greatest leader I've ever been around.
Yes!
He's beloved in our locker room. And I'll do anything. It's like, I would do anything for Jameis Winston. But also, fuck the Falcons. Who cares?
Again, that's the biggest part of this. If this was a game against like the Packers, Jameis doesn't do this. But
No.
it's the Falcons. This is one of the like true rivalries in the NFL where the players do not like each other. They don't like each other on that team, regardless of the situation. Yeah, I'm gonna try and run up the score. It doesn't
we
matter.
talk-
Like, they gotta think about it for the next 365 days.
Hey, Q,
Can
be
we
real,
talk
Q,
about
be real.
the
Be
post-
real for a second, Q. Be real for a second. And you know, we Browns fans, and majority of people who watch us are Browns fans. Hopefully, we get some Jags fans watch us too. But look, be honest. If Jameis was on the Cleveland Browns and he did exactly what he did to the Pittsburgh Steelers, tell me he wouldn't be the most beloved athlete in Cleveland Browns history if he did that to the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of the game. Tell me we wouldn't love him.
Oh, he'd be the most loved man since Peyton Hillis. And I like straight up. And like, we would be out here, like, I'm not gonna lie, if he did that versus the Steelers, I'd be copping him, please. Like, hey man, y'all wasn't this bad when Antonio Brown kicked us in the face? Now what y'all? Remember when he backflipped up 30 points for no reason into the end zone on Ibrahim Campbell? Like, nah. But y'all, man, we scored this extra touch. I'd have been sounding just like Jameis. Okay.
Mhm.
They should have did something about the other 40 points. They mad about this
Exactly.
one. And then
you wanna
people,
get
the
mad.
thing that the thing that got me was this press reporter. Like, I hate sports reporters like this who are like, they live in their fears so much that they don't realize that when they say this stuff to athletes, they just sound like they on the most whole shit that you've ever heard in your life. He's like, well, Jameis, aren't you afraid? Because you have to play those guys next year. Like the Falcons wasn't going to be motivated to play the Falcons next year. Like, what? You think they about to be like, oh, we wasn't about to play y'all hard, but now we about to go hard. And it's the fucking Falcons, y'all. Have some backbone. I'm sorry.
The thing about this is Jameis is a free agent. He might not have to play the Falcons next year.
He might be on the Falcons next year.
Go out with a bang. You know what? Cool. I might not see y'all again. I'm going to rub it in your face.
Hey.
I'm going to absolutely make it so you have to think about this next year while I'm chilling somewhere else.
And here's also what Jameis was thinking. This is the last time I'll be with this group of homies. I gotta go out on a dove. I can't go out dealing that thing on the one. No, remember the first thing. I don't know if y'all know this. Do you guys remember the first thing Jameis Winston ever went viral for before he was even starting?
Was it the speech? Not the clip.
It was a viral clip of him reacting to EJ Manuel getting drafted. It was him running around his dorm hall, being like, yeah, y'all was sleeping on my EJ Manuel. Like, just, this is who Jameis is, dog. He's always been
the
like
greatest teammate of all time.
Greatest teammate of all time.
Look, nobody who shares a locker room with Jameis ever got anything to say about Jameis. Everybody who writes articles about Jameis, oh, they got some problems with Jameis. But them dudes in that locker room, they will die for Jameis. All right? Like, you know how good of a locker room dude you gotta be to throw 30 interceptions and have the opportunity to hit 5,000 yards? Like, nobody's like, hey, dog, we got to do something at quarterback after the 20th interception. They like, hey, let Jameis cook, man. Y'all worry about the interceptions too much, man. Like,
it is what it is.
He didn't lose a single person on that defense. He threw 30 turnovers. And I'm pretty sure he fumbled like 6 times.
There's an argument to be made that Jameis is the most exciting player in the NFL because you never know what's going to happen. And he's a backup. You never know what you're going to see from Jameis. He might get in the game and throw a 50-yard touchdown. He might throw it to the other team. He might have the greatest inspirational speech of all time. There might be times where he's like saying something to Alvin Kamara on the sidelines, and Alvin Kamara is just not fucking with it at all. Like, he's just like, yeah, man, get out of my face. Please get out of my face. We are losing.
But here's the thing. Here's how much Alvin Kamara likes him. He is not messing with any of that stuff that Jameis is saying in that moment. We like,
Derek Carr
all
say something
right,
like that.
dog. Like, he gonna dap him up at the end of it and laugh. Like, this dude is hilarious.
Let Derek Carr say something like that. He's already seen it.
Yeah, look, Derek Carr come up into his face talking about what he need to do. He gonna stand up on that. Like, hey, what you Jameis come by, like, hey, dog, I love you.
Dudes don't like Derek Carr. He always yelling at him. There were like 3 separate instances this year of Derek Carr and teammates getting into arguments, and Derek Carr lost all of those arguments.
JP, here's the thing that's crazy. Because before Derek Carr shared a locker room with Jameis, Derek Carr was the teammate of teammates, right? Like, he was the I love this dude all-star. I saw a video where Amari Cooper, of all people, and I don't know how much you know about Amari Cooper, he was like, he was in this podcast going hard for Blake Sims, right? Going hard for Jacoby Brissett. He was going hard for all these dudes, and they asked him who was his favorite quarterback to play for? Unquestionably, Derek Carr. A man who had a season with him in which he had 400 yards. He was like, yeah, I'm rocking with that dude. That's how much people like Derek Carr. And they like Jameis so much that they turned Derek Carr into the villain. Like, that's how much Jameis Winston is beloved.
It's not just they. He did some of that on his own.
Yeah. Like, they was like, I'm tired of Derek Carr trying to smooth things over with dinners and gifts. You know what Jameis do? Hey, bro, you know it's a cookout. Like, Jameis understands the locker room more than anybody else. And look, if the league gets so mad at Jameis for this that they kick him out, that is a blessing in disguise, because let me tell you something. Jameis Winston playing spring football with a microphone on 24/7. Oh, I'm watching every second.
I'm not going there. I'm going. Jameis Winston would be the greatest high school coach of all time.
Oh,
Just for
Easily.
the funniest things. He'd be the greatest high school football coach of all time.
Jameis Winston is going to be somebody's coach one day. And we're going to have to explain to the children why that is one, the most predictable, and two, the most unpredictable thing to happen of all time. Like, we're going to be like, hey, dog. Jameis Winston
you just had to be there to
head
understand. You had to be there to understand. Like,
I have to imagine this is what people 20 years or elder feel about Jim Harbaugh being a head coach somewhere. They're like, what? That
oh my
dude?
God, that's such a good comparison.
Like, yeah,
Jameis and Jim Harbaugh are the same person.
Yeah, it's like, what if Jim Harbaugh went to Hueytown, Alabama?
Like, and Jim Harbaugh was country.
Oh.
And instead of Midwestern country, Southern country.
Nah, he's like, yeah, same guys. Like, they'll both tell you can't eat chickens because they are not alpha animals or whatever.
They're a scared bird.
Yeah, they're a scared bird.
And you're just gonna be like, all right, man, cool. I'll see you later. That Jameis is a dude in the barbershop who says conspiracy theories, but nobody checks him on it because, like, hey, okay, dude, word. Like, I got you.
Jameis Winston is the dude in the barbershop that comes in there and tells you he played all city, and everybody knows for a fact did not play all city.
But they just
right?
let him go.
Except for he did in 2 sports. Like, Jameis Winston, we forget this, was a 2-sport draft pick guy. He went number 1 in the NFL draft, and I believe he went like in the first 5 rounds of the baseball draft.
He was really good at baseball.
Yeah.
But
this is the look, man. I feel like people be so serious about Jameis when the book's been out for decades. Like, let's just enjoy this man for what he is, which is a hilariously entertaining individual. I can't wait till he starts coaching college football because nobody has college football head coach written all over them more than Jameis Winston does. Like, that's gonna be one of the I will root for that team.
He's going to be coaching high school football somewhere in Foley, Alabama, and just lead them to like 4 state titles.
I need that.
The funniest, he is a content machine, and for that,
last thing we go head out on before we switch topics: buddy cop pairings. Right? We talked about Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston. Me and Cole have a running joke about Caleb Williams and Jameis Winston. Like, that's the perfect buddy cop movie, in my opinion.
It's perfect. But it's so perfect.
Oh, yeah. Because he'll be out there being all arrogant, and James Bell, okay, you think it can't happen? Look at me. Watch out now. Like, Caleb was like, what?
Hey, no, we need them to be on the same roster because there's gonna be a thing about Caleb Williams painting his nails or something. A story like that's gonna come out when he's in the NFL, and Jameis defending him is going to either be the greatest or the funniest thing we have ever seen.
You're gonna be like, nails. You know what else they had for nails? They nailed Jesus' hands to the cross. And it's gonna be the most Southern shit ever, and I'm gonna do nothing but laugh.
I ain't got no problem with the man embracing his team colors. Like, what y'all got a problem with right there?
Yeah, you gonna paint his nails?
Hey. Long as he throw them touchdowns, you ain't gonna care what's on them fingernails now.
Like, is he Bruh-Man from Martin?
He might be Bruh-Man from Martin. He might be Bruh-Man.
He just be chilling, like that. That's Caleb Williams and Jameis. What are you doing here, man?
Jameis Winston is the only backup quarterback where the starter got to pay deference. Like, he got to check in with Jameis Winston because, look, you lose Jameis, you lose the team, buddy. And I think that's what happened to him. That's what happened to Derek Carr in New Orleans. He lost Jameis. Which is shocking because, man, I haven't seen 2 people have more in common than Jameis Winston and Derek Carr, but I guess it's one of them, we play the same songs but different tunes. Like, it must have been one of those things because Buddy wasn't rocking with him. Like, it just was what it was. But look, you got to, if Deshaun Watson has Jameis Winston as the backup quarterback, Deshaun Watson going to have to check in, dog. He going to be like, hey, dog, we good? Because if you lose Jameis, hey, Greg Newsom going to be out there like, hey, we just need to have a clean game at quarterback. Like, you remember when Baker Mayfield was here and we would get all these like sneak disses for the defense? Like, hey man, if we just run that ball, like if we put the game in Nick Chubb's hands,
we'll win the game. Just don't let them throw.
Ain't nothing more hilarious than the politics of a locker room when they become public, because you just start seeing these vague signs of people obviously not fucking with each other, but you can't call it out because people will get mad. But it's like, hey dog, John Johnson just said run the ball on Twitter, and Baker Mayfield is playing in this game.
You know what I think is the funniest buddy cop movie, or in the same song, different tunes? They're both going to be free agents. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston in the same quarterback room.
Cannot happen.
So
Riggs and Bertall.
funny.
Cannot happen.
So
Cannot happen.
No, I need that. I need that. I need in-season Hard Knocks to be there.
They are both so chaotic, but in completely different ways, that I just think their mind meld would be hilarious.
Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson could talk to each other for 2 hours and not understand a single thing that either one said, but still continue the conversation.
Imagine having the least likable and most likable quarterback in the same locker room at the same time.
I will offer this counterpoint though, Cole. That might be the fix for Russell, is to make him Jameis Winston's homeboy. Because all of a sudden, hey, I fuck with Jameis, so I guess I gotta be cool with Russ.
Hey, you know what? If Russ was doing high knees on the plane, Jameis gonna get up and do them with him.
You know what? JP, we just landed on something. If you have an unlikable starter, get Jameis Winston. That'll fix it.
Instant PR boost.
Oh yeah. Hey, Buccaneers, go ahead and get Jameis, right? Because once Baker get off this, like, oh yeah, I'm being humble, and he start feeling himself and calling him the Danger Six again, okay, you gonna need Jameis to make sure that, hey, that's my homeboy, so people don't get sick of his shit. Hey, who else got a real unlikable quarterback? If Carson Wentz had Jameis Winston, he'd still be on the Eagles. All right.
It's so funny how we're like PR master Jameis Winston. Like, just imagine that we're saying that in 2023. Tell a Florida State fan back in 2014 that Jameis Winston would be the PR master, or like the positive person or the positive PR guy. I don't know how I'd do it.
I don't know if he's positive public relations. The public might feel away, but he's definitely positive LR, locker room relations. Like, look, you got a starter people ain't fucking with? Hey, dog, throw Jameis behind him and make sure they know the program. You got to be his homeboy, right? Because if you are Jameis's homeboy, they going to put up with a little bit more, right? But if you're not Jameis's homeboy, it's going to go all crashing down.
Exactly. I get another funny one. Dak and Jameis in the same QB room. So funny. So funny. Jameis would piss off Dak so much. It just get to the point.
Yeah, Dak seems like a very serious guy.
Yeah. Dak strikes me as a man who don't joke around a lot. Don't like people who joke around a lot.
And Jameis strikes me as somebody who plays rock, paper, scissors in between sets. Like
they gonna be in there studying film. Jameis gonna say something stupid and Dak should get out. Just get out. I can't do this.
You know what Jameis is? You know what, like, out of, you ever had to do like film review for like basketball, right? And there's somebody always in the room who's willing to like say, fuck it, shoot the J. Like in the middle of a film review, that's Jameis right there. Hey, throw that 9. Fuck what coach say. Like, in the middle of the film review, he will say that. Coach like,
Dak,
see, that's why your ass don't play.
Dak will be like, you know what? He got a point. Like everybody in the room is like, you know what?
Kirk Cousins and Jameis Winston would be the best buddy cop film, because I think they will ultimately get along and be better off for it. Like Jameis would pick up a little bit of Kirk. Kirk could get a little bit of that risky from Jameis, and then that's how Kirk Cousins gets his first championship. Like that is, I need Netflix to produce it.
Kirk and Jameis is so funny. Just imagine
Kirk with all the chains.
Kirk with the chains on, and Jameis is like, "Where do you get them chains from, dog?"
He's like, I don't really like wearing. Hey, look, Kirk's gonna have the chains on, and Jameis is gonna be like, "Yeah, I don't really like being flashy like that." Like, you never see Jameis in a hoodie,
chains, man. I don't even like chains like that. They gonna.
Could you imagine Jameis in his Jameis in prime Cam Newton's locker room. Like, imagine those two kicking it.
Hey, Cam, get Jameis to put the fits on, put the hats on.
No.
Hey, it would be
Cam
nonstop arguing about what's a better place to live, Bessemer, Alabama, or Atlanta, Georgia, between the two of them, dog.
Cam gonna send something to Jameis in the Cam language. Jameis gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't know you spoke Italian," or some shit like that. Cam's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
You know, he spun me that. He was like, yeah, you know, Cam sent me that text, but he said it that spooky shit. So I ain't really get to read it, dog.
I don't deal with that spooky shit.
They'll be asking him about an Instagram catch and Cam have you like, well, I ain't got the app. I don't got the app to decipher that. So I just don't know what he said. I asked Cam, he said it was just something regular. I was like, okay, so that's what it was. Like, look, man. Jameis Winston is going to make a bunch of more. He's going to make so much more money out of playing football than he does playing it, dog.
He's going to be the greatest quarterback coach of all time.
Oh,
you know what he's going to be? You know what he's going to be? He's going to be the NFL's version of Charles Barkley. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be the NFL's
with
version
none
of
of
Charles
the accomplishments.
God, I need it. I need that. I need it.
You going to see him on Inside the NFL talking about,
oh my
hey,
Lord.
dog.
Alabama's finest, Charles Barkley and Jameis Winston leading the coverage for premier networks would be the greatest thing that Alabama has given us.
Hey,
Here's the thing, man.
Who's going to be Jameis' Shaq? Who is going to be Jameis' Shaq?
Who's going to be Jameis' Shaq? That's interesting. Who is like a Shaq-like figure in the NFL right now?
Man.
You know what? They're both on the Saints. Cam Jordan.
Yeah, kind of.
Ooh.
Kind of.
Cam Jordan already does this TV thing. He's
no.
probably more popular.
Okay. Max Crosby. Put him across from Max Crosby. It's gonna be a different type of show. Hey, I will watch. I will be there.
We're gonna have a let a naysayer know kind of thing going on there. That feels like we're setting Max Crosby up.
Hey, that's gonna be the first ESP. That's gonna be the first NFL pregame show on BET Plus. Like that's gonna be.
Pat McAfee is their Ernie Johnson. Is that what we're working on here?
They gonna have. That's far too lawless.
No, not Pat McAfee.
You need an adult in the room.
No, that's the type of show. That's the type of show where they would hire
Ernie Johnson.
They would hire somebody like me or you to like host the show and then call him Black McAfee. Like that's what they would do on that show.
I don't like that.
Hey,
I do not like that.
Hey,
I don't like that.
I don't know.
Hey,
too much.
They would hire,
too much.
What's the dude? The punter. What's the punter's name from? He used to be on the Raiders. Marquette.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Marquette King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marquette King.
Hey, Marquette King would have a job on that show. And they would shamelessly be trying to do the Pat McAfee thing with him. Okay? Shamelessly.
God.
Let's
get off of this before we get in trouble.
Speaking of shameless, it's time to transition to our next topic. Draymond Green, the most shameless man I have ever seen in my life. He said he told Adam Silver he was thinking about retiring because it's just become too much for me. And I can't do it because he's assaulting people. And Adam said, hey, bro, I need you to stop assaulting our other players. Can you please stop doing that?
You know how bad it looks for you to be like, yeah, I'm going to retire if I just can't spitting backfist people anymore. Like, come on, man. Keep your hands. I can't
play my game.
I can't be me. I can't do it. This is like in Temptations where like they ain't let David sing. This Draymond thinks he's David Ruffin when he's Otis. Otis can't do that. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
This is the crazy thing about Draymond, bro. This is the crazy thing to me. You have gotten away with so much since you have kicked multiple men, grown men, NBA players in their testicles. And the only time you got punished for it was in the finals. I watched you stop.
And he still complain about it to this day. By the way,
still complain about it.
He's never been like, yeah, I cost the team there. You know, we could have came back, but it is what it is. No, he's like, hey.
Do you think he tells Braun like, hey, if I get suspended,
all the time?
Absolutely.
Like, dog, you kicked me in the nuts.
To the
You know-
point. To the
You know
point
why
to
else
where
he says it? He says it because he also balled out in that game 7. So he definitely he feels emboldened and
Hey.
extra confident. Like, man, if I get suspended that game, it was over. With.
if Steph wasn't his homeboy, he would be out here like, see, look, I might have hit him in the nuts, and that might have gave them a little bit of momentum. But let's keep it a buck. I went 7 for 7 from 3 in game 7. Steph couldn't get past Kevin Love. Like,
I did my
don't care
job.
how we make it happen. Draymond Green needs to be opposite of Jameis Winston. That's his Shaq. Like,
Nah. We can't do that. We can't
That's
happen.
too-
It can't happen.
But I think the thing for Draymond, at least, is like somebody's eventually gonna hit him back, right?
No,
Somebody,
nobody's gonna hit
some-
him back. Nobody's gonna
Somebody's
hit him back.
got eventually, like, he gonna keep doing this until somebody hits him back. I just want to know who the person's going to be that's gonna hit him back.
You know who he tried to do that to? He tried to do that to one person. He tried
Yeah, I
to
was
do
about to
that
say,
to one person.
he's
And he
very
did go.
selective.
He know who to try. He know who to
Yeah.
try. He tried to do that to Isaiah Stewart on the Pistons one time,
You
and it was not going down. It was not going down.
don't mess with Isaiah Stewart.
Isaiah
Hey.
Stewart he tried to run up on Bron.
He does not care about his career or well-being. He tried to run up on the face of the NBA. He does
Did
not
not
care
care at
about
all.
a single thing.
Did not care at all.
I,
Hey,
I
bro.
mean,
He stomped on Domantas Sabonis' chest, like
Yeah, it was
stomped
nuts.
on his
That was-
chest.
he stomped a mud hole, Stone Cold Steve Austin style, into Domantas Sabonis for no reason. And it's not even like he just gave him like a little stomp. He jumped. He jumped in
Who
the air. It was like a
In the
Goomba.
NBA is left where you're like, hey, real talk, he not going to try that on him. Like, there used to be, was it James Jones or James Johnson? Like,
James
on the
Johnson.
James
Heat?
Johnson.
My,
He's still in the
my
league.
answer, my answer was going to be James Johnson.
By the way, y'all ever hear
Because-
Jeff Teague's story about James Johnson in college?
Hey.
He was like best friends with him. And then one day James Johnson was like, he got mad at him, said something about him. And he was like, all right, bet. He was like, I got to get the fuck out of here, dog.
Again, they call that man blood sport. Like, he does this for real.
He does it for real, dog. It's serious.
You do not
let's
wanna mess
see.
with that
Let's
man.
see. Who could Draymond not try in the NBA still? Like that would actually not see. There's nobody who's like a don't give all-star for real anymore.
Yeah.
Like everybody kind of cares in the NBA now. Like, people are making too much money for somebody to be a don't give a fuck all-star. But
Ain't nobody trying to fight no more, man. We passed that era of players who really trying to fight you. Like, we done with
Yeah.
that. Like, Ron Artest's not in the league no more. Ben Wallace not in the league no more. You know what I'm saying? David West not in the league no more. Zach Randolph not in the league no more. You see what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody trying to fight you for real no more.
Ron Artest is a special one because he was a legitimately good player. Like
Everybody got
he
named
just
was a good
truly-
player.
like,
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
got named
Steven
was a good
Jackson, like made a lot of money. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody left where I'm like, no, David West retired? Like,
See what I'm saying?
just there's no there. Hey,
Oh, nope. I do know. There's one guy. There's one guy left. Tristan Thompson.
oh yeah, Tristan Thompson would. Tristan Thompson would.
Hey,
I don't know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Draymond don't want no issues with Tristan. If you know, you know. No problems with that man.
All right, I need him to go at Dylan Brooks. Like, has him and Dylan Brooks got into a serious altercation yet?
I don't think
Dylan Brooks not trying to fight nobody,
think-
man.
either of them actually. want to
Nah, but
fight
I need to
anybody.
see Dylan Brooks like crash into him and see like, okay, we need to have this 1 versus 2 matchup right now. Like, okay, the two most irritating players in the NBA, who wins? Who gets the crowd? Like, other than
So-
that,
I think it comes down to like players who
I
both
got one.
want to and players who like will not face any like negative standing in their public image.
I got one.
I think
Okay.
I do too. Go ahead.
Jokic.
I was just about to say,
He don't give about this thing at all. Okay. Okay. He
Hey.
is sitting there. They out here showing all these Draymond videos. He's like, the day he tries it with me is the day I handle that. like,
Him and his brother's gonna show up outside his hotel room in tracksuits.
Hey,
mhm.
remember what he did? Remember what he did to Markieff Morris?
Hey man,
Hey,
And then had
That
the
man
audacity to call his brothers like, dude, chill.
That man ain't played for like 2 months after.
Hey,
Again, as a Heat fan, I thought Markieff Morris was done for the year. I thought that man was gone. Like that Jokic tried to end that man.
Hey, we need to address something with Draymond, man, because I just thought about something. And I think, hey, Draymond might be xenophobic, bro. Now that I think about it, when I really think about it, because if you think about everybody he's actually like assaulted, Steven Adams, Domantas
Australian.
Sabonis, you know what I'm saying? Who Yusuf Nurkic. And he straight up
Rudy Gobert.
Out here.
He saw Cat. Here's the thing that goes to your point. He saw tap out Cat and went after Rudy.
No, the funniest thing about that is after Rudy Gobert was like, if he put me in a better chokehold, I might have actually felt. You gotta lie. We saw you.
We saw your face. We saw your face.
We saw you doing
We saw your face, dog.
You was selling that shit like WWE in the 90s, dog. Like
we saw
Rudy
you
was fighting for his. He was fighting for his life.
I was waiting for the referee to do it. 1, 2.
I need to know what was. That was the one time I needed somebody to be mic'd up. I needed to know what Rudy was saying.
Because why, bro? I was like, hey, people don't even like Rudy. And everybody was like, hey, man, Rudy ain't even do nothing, bro. What you doing?
Chill.
So you telling me,
like you said, he went directly after Rudy, like straight up, like MMA chokehold, without hesitation, for no reason. The fight was over.
hey, Ben Simmons better watch
Rudy
out.
broke the fight up. Rudy actually broke the fight. He was like, come on, y'all, let's chill. And then Draymond ran straight to him.
Draymond was like, fuck that.
I think
I'm getting
I
mine
know.
in.
I'm gonna predict who's gonna end this streak for Draymond. Ben Simmons. I think he's gonna run up on Ben Simmons. He Australian.
Ben Simmons got a bad back. He can't do too much action.
No. He's not gonna do nothing, Ben. He's not gonna do nothing.
Ben Simmons don't care about playing. Like, that's the thing. Ben Simmons will fight back because Ben Simmons don't care about playing no more. He don't want to play. So he'll be like, all right, Draymond, you trying to scrap? All right, And then next thing we know, we're going to see somebody's going to give him the comeuppance. And you are right, Cole. He cannot play in the Olympics. Like, he clearly has an issue.
You, bro, he has an issue. I would love to hear Draymond's politics. I would love to hear Draymond's politics.
Would you?
Yes,
So I have one thought on a player that would actually end the Draymond streak, and I don't think he would do it because of the public image, but Giannis would absolutely like try and end that, man. Because Giannis went crazy over a game ball.
I was gonna say Giannis be getting pushed to the limit, man. Like Giannis is so tired of America.
Giannis be looking like he's nice and he's funny. That man is not. That man.
He be like, I just be trying to live my life. And you guys be fucking with me, and I'm tired of it, dog. Like, he's so tired. And that ball set him off the roof because he like, now you wouldn't do that to nobody else but me.
I just want to point out your Giannis impression and that accent you tried to do was crazy. I just wanted to point that out real quick.
Wild.
Hey,
Giannis already got a family to feed. He also not on top of that.
Not just a family.
Take care of his brothers,
who he got to keep a job or like he got to keep them employed.
One day, Draymond gonna push Giannis to a point of no return, and he gonna
find out that Tendacupos don't fuck around out there. Like
they are legion. He got 5 brothers.
Yes.
They gonna jump him.
Hey, Giannis is real close to his Wayne Brady moment where he's like, hey, is Giannis going to have to smack a bitch?
Is Giannis
he real close?
I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was going to do it against Indiana when he didn't get that ball.
Yeah.
The way he took off down that tunnel, I was like,
remember how we all felt like something was... We all felt like something was coming before the Oscars 2 years ago with a certain actor where we was like, man, it's a lot of stress out there for that man. Man, he getting to that point and people kept pushing and then all of a sudden it blew up. And all I'm saying is Giannis is at that point. He is like, I done smiled enough, I done danced, I done won my championship rings, and y'all out here still fucking with me, like not giving me my respect, and I'm gonna have to slap somebody.
So I offer this not to say like, hey, but also January 13th, Golden State goes to Milwaukee. If Draymond comes back for that game,
don't let him try to tie up Giannis.
Hey, you try and mess with Giannis. Hey, it might not end well for you.
We have a super chat here that's relevant to this conversation from Mike Walk 32. And he says, the greatest fight of all time would be Draymond versus Jose Ramirez.
Hey, that won't be a great fight because Draymond like to talk before he fight. And Jose gets straight to it.
I don't think
Jose cooking him.
I think
Jose cooking him.
That's a first round TKO. Jose Ramirez is knocking him out. Like
easy. Knocking him out.
Jose doesn't talk. Like he is about the action on site. Did you
will
see
say
that
something out of pocket to Jose Ramirez.
It was the cleanest left I've seen like a sports like an athlete.
He was waiting on it.
Like hey man, like he is ready at any time.
Tim
Jose Ramirez
Anderson
is a phenomenal baseball player, and when he knocked bro out, I was like, "Hey, bro, you might be doing the wrong sport." Like, I ain't gonna lie.
Hey,
Tim Anderson said whatever he said to Jose Ramirez, and Jose just sit there for like a couple seconds, chewed his gum, and was like, "I'm about to blast off on him." Like that was it.
Hey,
he didn't give you no signs. Like,
one of Jose's thing was he makes contact.
Yeah, hey,
Tim
he gets
Anderson
on
ain't read the
base.
scouting report.
He gets on base.
He ain't read the scouting report, buddy.
Hey, they had to carry
contact.
Tim out of there. I was like, "Oh, bro, you never gonna forget about this. You never gonna forget about this ever."
Those celebrations ain't never gonna hit the same, ain't they, Tim? Damn, dog. Like that was and Tim low key was the last one we had left in the league. It's like, oh,
they had him after the game. They had him tweeting for the next 5 days about the game. Like, hey, dog, it's okay.
Hey,
I'm surprised you awake.
If Magic made it.
Hey, Tim was tweeting out threats and everything, man. It's like, man, we ain't trying to see that, dog. I saw what Jose did to you, bro. Shut up.
He's tweeting threats. These are empty threats. We have seen what you do in a fight. You want to lose again?
Dude, everybody in the comments like say that shit to his face.
You picking the wrong battles.
Hey, I would love to know what Jose was saying to that man in Spanish. I would pay money to know what he was saying.
He's calling him all the worst names known to man. Just all of the worst vile things.
I think it's even more disrespectful than that. He ain't say nothing. He knocked him out, put his gloves back on, and was like, all right. Like, please get him off the floor.
See, I'm not even. I want to know
if somebody knocked me out and didn't even have the energy to talk shit, I'm like, you didn't even want to do this. Like you just got me off pure skill. Like this wasn't even something you've been waiting to do. Like if somebody goes off on you and they talking a gang and shit, it's like, okay, I didn't know that this was a playoff game and he came at me with playoff energy. Nah, he beat you like he beat a Thursday night football game. He was like, all right, man, let's on the next one. Want to know? Like he wasn't even happy about it.
I didn't know what Tim said because I've always had the thought, like, what if players learn different languages just to talk shit to other players? I didn't know if Tim has Duolingo because if he learned a different language to talk shit and he said something vile to Jose Ramirez in Spanish, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no other reason.
Jose, like I saw that fight and I was like, that reminds me of ass whoopings I've seen fathers give sons, where it was a clear, like it wasn't I'm so furiously mad at you I have to fight you kind of shit. It was you crossed the line and now here's the consequence. All right, this is what happens when you run your gums like that. Like it was. That's the energy it had.
The craziest thing is nobody was on Tim Anderson's side.
No.
Nobody was like, well, maybe Jose crossed the line there. No, everybody was like, dog, you got knocked the fuck out. Like, what did you do? Like,
Can we talk about
nobody immediately took his side. I don't even think his teammates took his side.
Dog, it's usually like,
bro. What side was there to take? You got knocked out.
No, Cole. Here's the thing. Think about all the people, whenever a fight breaks out, be all sympathetic for the loser in sports on Twitter. Think about how much of those people watch baseball. A lot of them watch baseball. And none of these people who love being sympathetic for the loser, who love being like, oh my God, the violence is so crazy, you can't have it. None of them was like, damn, man, I can't believe he just took off on Tim Anderson. How unprofessional. They was like, nah, man, fuck Tim Anderson. That's what they was on. That's what they was on.
It is insane how quickly
Rich Eisen wasn't out here trying to get charges pressed on him. He was like, you know what? Good on him. Like,
it was like, all right, man, you got it.
It would be like, you know what the football equivalent would be? It would be like if Nick Chubb punched Jalen Ramsey in the mouth. Like, nobody would be on Jalen's side.
What you do to Nick? Nick don't do that.
Remember, JP remembers this. Remember when AJ Green went on Jalen Ramsey and nobody was mad at AJ Green?
Because AJ is the quietest person alive.
Oh man, you didn't even get the good example. Andre Johnson, Brett Grimes.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
Andre Johnson,
Brett Grimes.
Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan.
Oh no, Finnegan. My fault, Brett Grimes. Finnegan.
Yes. He beat the shit out of him. Cortland Finnegan. And everybody was like, okay. Like, yeah, we get it. Like, hell yeah, man.
Well, he is an irritant.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he probably said something. Like, Andre Johnson don't say shit to nobody.
Andre tried to kill that man on national television.
Which is to say, if Draymond ever slips up and decides to go at Jokic, we will have the same exact response.
I think another NFL equivalent is if Aaron Donald ever got into a fight. Because Aaron Donald doesn't really he don't really talk.
Dog. Remember when the news story was that he beat up some random dude and everybody was on Aaron Donald's side?
Like, why would you run up on this man? That man is built like Geodude. What are you doing?
He get triple teamed by NFL offensive linemen every Sunday. Why would you try to fight him?
Why would you fight him? What kind of courage do you have to think you can fight that guy? I remember during the preseason, I think like last year, a couple years ago, when the Bengals and the Rams were in joint practices, and there was a fight, but a still came up of Aaron Donald holding 2 Bengals helmets, not just one.
Mm-hmm.
He took 2 people's helmets and was holding them like the blades of chaos, like he was Kratos. I need to know, what did y'all do to that man?
And no, did y'all see his one off-season workout video where he was like training with the knife dudes and like how to stop them? I was like, bro, why would you try to fight somebody like that?
What war are you preparing for?
It's like, first of all, bro, you play football. What are you doing this for?
Who is trying to stab you?
Yeah, I don't know who's actively out here like willingly trying to fight Aaron Donald. Like I remember Bomani Jones had this great quote. He was like, you could tell some places are crazy places to live, like Louisiana, because you'll watch Leonard Fournette get into a fight, and it is obvious that Leonard Fournette has been in many fights in his life, and Leonard Fournette has looked like Leonard Fournette his whole life, which is to say, people saw Leonard Fournette's big ass and been like, hey, I got to test that. And that's something that can only happen in Louisiana. Like, that's something that can only happen in that state where people are like, yeah, or parts of Southern Florida. Like, there's only certain places where it's like, hey, man, like Myles Garrett's from Texas. I don't know if Myles Garrett knows how to square up. He's probably never had in his life. He looks like Myles Garrett.
I think Mason Rudolph might disagree.
Hey, that's true.
I think Mason Rudolph might disagree. Mason Rudolph be getting flashbacks.
There's one team Mason Rudolph is not trying to play. It is the Browns. So not because he fears them. No, he's like, dog, I don't want Myles out there. Like, he knows what I said.
Get him away from me. Like, keep him as far away from me as possible. He gonna do the
ain't gonna be enough triple T's in the world to stop Myles Garrett from getting to you legally. Like,
dog. Hey, Kenny, go in. Go in. I can't play today.
First play of the game, my bicep tore, dog. I don't know what happened.
Hey, y'all remember that dude who walked out of a fight as soon as the bell rang? That's Mason Rudolph. As soon as the ball snapped, he just walking off. Like, I'm not doing this.
No, I'm good. I'm good. He gonna have the Oklahoma State quarterback.
and now the Browns also have more people that might actually not like Mason Rudolph.
Oh,
like you don't want to do this.
Darius Smith, ready.
Hey, Cole, JOK.
Ooh, JOK would decapitate that man. Like
I couldn't imagine somebody he wants to see less.
he already runs fast to try and make tackles and looks like a bullet bill. Imagine Mason Rudolph is not surviving whatever that collision is.
No, he's not.
Like
he's not.
We're getting like Here Comes the Boom hit stick from JOK if that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're going to talk about the Browns in a second. But JP, since we got you on, you more than just a Jags fan. We know you cover the entire NFL. You watch more football than most people. So we got to ask you, the biggest surprises and the biggest fails of the NFL season. And
we'll leave the Jaguars out of it. Like
So-
we done gave y'all enough.
We covered
done
that.
gave y'all enough.
Non-Jags.
We covered that.
I think the biggest surprise for me is the Rams. I think going into the year, their defensive roster was one of the worst rosters from top to bottom in the league. They had a bunch of undrafted free agents, unproven rookies, and Aaron Donald on that roster. And Raheem Morris has kind of gotten blood from a stone in their ability to. I don't think they're good, but they're good enough. Like they're passable. And then getting Puka Nacua, who broke records in his rookie year. And I mean, I thought Puka was a good receiver. I didn't think he would be this. And getting this high level of play from Matt Stafford coming off an injury with an offensive line that, again, I think it goes to how good Sean McVay is of a coach. I think we talk about Sean McVay as a play caller a lot. He is one of the best coaches in the NFL, just all around, getting the best out of his players. The trade for Kevin Dotson for the season was masterful in helping elevate that offensive line. I think they're the biggest surprise. I don't know if this is kind of recency for me with biggest failure, but the Philadelphia Eagles, this season has just felt like a big failure.
Like a disappointment.
It feels like near the end of the year, like this was supposed to be a team where you were a few plays away from winning a Super Bowl, and you essentially run it back without the two coordinators. You start 10-1. They're the only team in NFL history to start the season 10-1 and end the season with 5 or more losses. Like that is a massive failure. You go from 10-1, the division is in your hands, and now you're going to have to go to Dallas or San Francisco again. Two teams that have already kicked your ass like before. So I think this season, just in terms of the overcorrections on defense, the failure to actually address the biggest holes, like they have Nolan Smith playing Mike linebacker right now, and he's an edge defender because you have nobody else at Mike linebacker. The Shaq Leonard signing, that felt like a Band-Aid over a cannon blast. Like that's fine, like in a vacuum, but he's not really going to do much to help you out. And in the safety position just hasn't been very good. And you overcorrect by going from Sean Desai to Matt Patricia, which is the worst in-season coaching change I've ever seen. I think it's the worst in-season coaching change of NFL history.
Oh, they did go to Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
because you go from bad. Of course, the Sean Desai defense was bad to passable to now you are one of the worst defenses in the league. And it was considering the context of it. It was weird because they had just come off of, I think, the Cowboys loss, and they switched. Like this was their second loss. This was their third loss of the season. You know, you might be like, "Oh, we're fine. We just have to make a couple of like changes, like personnel wise." You didn't have to go and like promote Matt Patricia, a guy that Darius Slade has said like he doesn't like. So it just feels like this season has been a bunch of massive overcorrections. And the offense just has never really gelled together. I'm not picking them to lose in the wild card round because I don't think the Bucs have enough. But the Eagles can fuck around if they want to, because the one thing about Baker is he's always going to have too much dip on his chip. Sometimes it'll work in favor of the defense. Sometimes it'll work in favor of the Bucs. You never know. And you don't want to play the chaos game with Baker Mayfield. You don't want to go down that route.
You preach it to the choir here, buddy.
You don't want to go down that chaos route.
They look, chaos is what you get. And that's the thing about the Eagles where I'm like, oh, I don't know about that one. Like, because the Eagles could beat somebody they're clearly better than. But the thing with Baker is like, hey, man, Baker might pull one out of Baker good for pulling one out of his butt cheeks now.
He can pull one out.
He will pull one out on you. And you aren't that good. And he has something to prove. I bet he wants to have another playoff win outside of Cleveland. I bet he wants to look over and be like, should have kept me. Like, I bet he wants all of that. That's how all of his fans act. And he loves how his fans act. So, yeah, Baker.
And even with Baker this year, like schematically, he has torn teams up who have bad linebackers and bad safeties. Doesn't bode well for the Eagles. I mean, you think about that Packers game where Baker carved them up, and you think, oh, the same defense is kind of schematically in Philadelphia. Of course, they might have better players up front, but like, again, fuck around if you want to. A.J. Brown might not play. Jalen Hurts dislocated a finger on his throwing hand. You don't want to mess around. If you
have us talking about Baker Mayfield being better than Jalen Hurts all summer.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I need it.
Oh my gosh.
Q knows why I need it too.
I think the funniest thing, like you said, is the Eagles think they are better. The Eagles are better than the Buccaneers. Baker doesn't know that. Baker thinks Baker is better than the Eagles. What do you think he's gonna do?
Baker Mayfield didn't understand why they would even consider bringing in Aaron Rodgers after 2020. Like, y'all got me. Baker Mayfield is still confused at everything that happened in Cleveland. Like, you ever hear him get interviewed about this? He's like, don't know what happened there. Like, he didn't play bad. Like, look, he is like an upgraded version of Ryan Fitzpatrick, where it's like, hey, dog, when it's hot, roll with it. When it's not, just try to forget them games, dog. But like, he's like Josh Allen, but the store brand version. Like, you could get the same highs and lows out of a football season from Baker Mayfield that you get out of Josh Allen, just not the same potency that you get out of a Josh Allen, right? And that's kind of the allure of Baker Mayfield, which is this game's on Monday Night Football.
Oh, it's gonna be in Tampa.
He's gonna be in Tampa. And low key, there's never been a better quarterback for the state of Florida than Baker Mayfield. Like, just like,
fuck around if you want to.
Hey,
find out.
Jalen Hurts gonna come in there. Jalen Hurts gonna come in there looking cool. And Baker Mayfield gonna come in there with that handlebar mustache, playing country music, being like, "We gonna get him this time, y'all." Like, it's gonna be. It's going to be nasty discourse on the timeline for the next 5 days.
And I can't wait to lead it. I can't wait to be the one leading. I'm so ready to hate on Jalen Hurts. You don't understand. I'm so ready to hate on this man. Q, hey, look, JP, you don't know.
This ain't got nothing to do with Jalen Hurts, by the way. Like, Jalen Hurts has done nothing to deserve this.
But this is what happened. Me and Q did a video earlier. We were talking about the most disappointing players currently of the season. Me and Q said Jalen Hurts, as far as quarterbacks go, has been very disappointing this season.
No names, please.
We got some pushback.
Yeah.
We got some pushback on that. And, people try to do the screenshot and try to dunk on us and everything like that.
All season, by the way. I just found this out. This was not just happening the day that the tweet went out. This happened all season. By the way, I stopped giving a fuck after I was like, I'm clearly right. He has 8 interceptions in 6 games. He's the most disappointing but I let it go. Apparently this thing continued on throughout anytime Jalen Hurts had a good game, this got mentioned. And I'm just going to be right here. Who's been a more disappointing quarterback than Jalen Hurts this year?
You tell us, JP. You tell us.
Oh man. Gosh. More disappointing quarterback this year than Jalen Hurts. I think he might have got I think he might have got it.
Yeah.
We did too. You know what I'm saying?
We saw this in September. It got caught assholes. It got caught. We were promoting somebody else's agenda because of this take. All of this stuff. I still haven't got an apology from the significant individuals who decided to take the mantle and say that I was promoting something that I wasn't, simply because I thought Jalen Hurts was a disappointing quarterback so far this year. So, to those people, my DMs will always be open, and, feel free to shoot me one so we can let this one go. But until then, we about to be petty about this, because, dog, how did we not see this shit coming? He was so bad early in the season, and everybody just was like, well, they're 5-1, which is hilarious to me, because other quarterbacks have gone 5-1, and we've been able to see past that, right? But Jalen Hurts going 5-1, we wiping all that out the way, right? Like, okay, the record's good.
Quick disclaimer. We are not advocating or supporting anything that the other individual may have done in their personal life. We always have to make that disclaimer because
when we talk about Deshaun Watson, it's strictly on the field, in the building. We don't give a fuck about that man outside it. He's a terrible person outside the building. Like, we're not about to be out here defending Deshaun Watson's personality. No, fuck that. But we barely defend him as a football player.
Like, I was gonna say it got real rough. It got real rough there.
No, look, QnCOLB was out after the second game of the season. Like, there's not.
To be fair, like, yeah, it's
hey, dog. Hey, look, and here, the way we feel about it is the same way Andrew Berry feel about him. If he also bullshit next year, we will have somebody else by 2025. Somebody else will start. We have no marriage to this Deshaun Watson thing working. If it works, cool. Team gonna win some games. If it doesn't, all right,
get him out of here.
Move on to the next guy. I'm not buying Deshaun Watson jerseys. I give no fucks.
I just think I can see it now. Next year, Deshaun's not going to play well for like a stretch of like 2 or 3 games.
Oh,
and the Flacco chance is going to start. They're going to be the bring back Flacco chance.
We about to see if this man can really handle the pressure. We about to find out. Right?
Hey, don't let Joe play well in the postseason. Don't let Joe play well in the postseason. My God.
Hey, look. I look at the Deshaun Watson stuff, and like, it's just a series of unfortunate events, because like, he comes back, he plays bad in that Pittsburgh game, has a game against Tennessee where we're like, hey, this is gets hurt immediately, like, does not play after that for 5 more weeks, comes back, blows out Arizona, nobody's moved, 14-14 versus the best team in the league in Baltimore, and it has like these game-winning moments, balls out, we finally like, it might be back. Guess what we found out on Wednesday, JP? He never coming back for this season. He out for the year. And to me, it's like the universe saw this season about to unfold and was like, nah, he ain't paid us. He ain't paid enough. Okay? We about to, you know who deserves a break? Joseph Flacco. Come here, Joe. Come here, get this break, baby. Come here, get this.
That man Joe was taking his kids to school. And now he's throwing 50-yard passes to Amari Cooper.
Hey, Joe Flacco I got a good ass job energy. He knows what it is. Mm-hmm. He knows he ain't got to do that much. He knows it's not on him. He like, yeah, man, we got Miles, we got Amari, we got David. I ain't got to do much.
I haven't seen Joe Flacco this happy since like 2016.
Look at the teams he's been on since 2016.
Like, it was the end of the Raiders era. And then just a bunch of backup spots. And it's just like, now he's actually like happy. He's able to go to sleep on the sidelines. You know, he's pretty old. He needs that sleep. Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is living his best life out here in Cleveland. Got his son. His kids are Browns fans now. Like, that's funny to me. His kids will forever grow up as Browns fans because they don't know nothing about that Ravens Joe Flacco, but they see Dad slaying that rock in that Browns uniform, and nobody will ever understand how weird it will be in 10 years when we bring back Joe Flacco for Ring of Honor night for 7 games in the regular season. We about to bring him back, dog. We about to bring him back.
Hey, I just know that phone call to Joe lasted like maybe 15 seconds. That man has 5 kids. It was like, hey, you want to come? Yes.
Yeah.
Get me out.
Y'all hiring? Y'all hiring? I could do something else.
I'll be there tonight. He probably could have been living on the other side of the country. Like, I'll be there tonight. Send the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Send the playbook.
No. When he got the call, he was like, "Yeah. Oh, y'all run the Kubiak? Okay. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I bet he got there and he started getting excited. He saw Amari Cooper run around like, ooh, that's Anquan Bolden. And then he saw David Njoku high jumping. He's like, that's the tight end? I got Dennis Pitta with hops. We about to do this, dog. He was just sitting there waiting for DTR to fuck up. Like he was like, yeah, man. Hey, dog. Hey, I'm going to help you learn the offense, DTR, for sure. Yeah. That's why I'm getting these extra reps in with David. It has nothing to do with you. Like,
He was just waiting. He
was like, hey, rook on rook. Like, then rooked and PJ. The next thing you know, he started. He like, yeah. Now, how can I get this ball to David Njoku and Amari Cooper? And guess what? Nobody loves him more than Amari Cooper because Amari.
No, I bet Amari Cooper loves him.
Greg, we had a similar conversation with you about a certain wide receiver. We don't have to name the names about like what quarterbacks that wide receiver liked. It was a very, very prominent Hall of Fame wide receiver that had these preferences that you would think are wild. I could say the preference, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Where this famous Hall of Fame wide receiver preferred Mac Jones to Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. And I could understand why somebody would look at that and be like, what the is that person thinking? And I'm like, nah, man, you got to think about this. That person thinking about himself. Right? Because you know what Mac Jones not good enough to do? Survey the field. You know what Mac Jones is just good enough to do?
Hit the one
you that rock. Hey, Caleb Williams gonna pat that ball, wait for you to run, extend the play and all this shit and actually get open. Hey, Mac Jones don't give a fuck about if you open or not. He just gonna throw it to you. And
got one read. You better be that read.
And look, that's what Amari Cooper loved about PJ Walker, is that PJ Walker was just bad enough to know I need to throw this shit to Amari. DTR thought he could do multiple reads and shit. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go here and then come back here. And he like, what you doing, youngie? Just throw me this shit. And then Joe Flacco got in. He's like, hey, you two, what was Amari Cooper's quote to him? Hey man, I'm 225. Just throw me that shit.
You know, he said hey, he's like I'm 6'2", 225. Throw me the ball, cuz. Just throw me the ball, cuz.
Just put it in the area code.
All right, cuz. Like,
hey, no, you know who's the happiest? You know who was the happiest though? Elijah Moore.
Hey, dog, Elijah Moore was shameless. JP, shameless. They brought up, look, before Joe Flacco was on the team, they brought up the idea of bringing Joe Flacco onto this team right after Deshaun Watson just went out for the season. And Elijah Moore was like, Joe Flacco. I love like Joe Flacco. Yeah, I would love it if they brought in Joe. They about to bring in Joe. Hey, I heard they might bring in Joe. Starting the rumors to make sure. You know how, like, when you want your homeboy to get hired, you start taking assumptions like, hey, man, like, oh, yeah, y'all interview Greg? I heard they about to give Greg the job, man. I can't wait till Greg start working here. Like, you start gassing it up so that they feel like now they can't go and not hire Greg, right? Like, that's what Elijah Moore was doing. Like, hey, man, I heard they about to bring Joe in here. And then, who's Zadarius Smith? First practice Joe Flacco had on the practice squad, mind you. I saw some franchise quarterback throws. Meanwhile, DTR is starting a game this week, dog. Like, it was absolutely 100% shameless.
What time it was?
Hey, they was like, we trying to win, Rook. We trying to win, Rook. You not ready.
No offense, youngin. It's just business.
Okay, that man got a ring, dog. I'm trying to get there.
Hold the clipboard for us.
And then DTR got hurt at the end of the season. He can't even be active for the rest of the year. Got hurt there in garbage time. Had Jeff Driscoll's take his last start. By the way, Jeff Driscoll, truly ass. Oh my God. Truly ass.
Yes.
I'm going to be so honest with you. I did not watch that game. I was not.
Nobody watched that game.
I
barely watched that game. Dog, I was watching the Jaguars game. I did a live watch party of the Browns and Bengals. And by the third quarter, I was doing play-by-play for the fucking Jags and Titans. I was like, oh, there was a big interception. Uh-oh. Big kick return. Like, nah, man. Nobody was watching that. It was because Jeff Driscoll is trash. Truly, he can't be on the roster no more, dog. Like, I know they was trying to get PJ up out of there because PJ be doing wild shit, but you can't replace PJ with him, man. And that's a hell of a sentence.
I heard the USFL back, Hey, that might be the move. You don't gotta be in the NFL. You still throw
Who,
a ball
Jeff?
around. Yeah,
I
Jeff.
wouldn't sign Jeff if I were a UFL team. Like, I didn't see anything in there that I'm like, yeah, man, we got to have that in the UFL. Like, but if PJ break loose, hey, look, if PJ broke loose, UFL on that. UFL he gonna get the first ever UFL guaranteed contract.
Oh yeah, he is a UFL legend.
That's what I'm saying. PJ just need to like play football in the fall as a part-time job, but like really go hard in the spring. Just be like, hey man, every once in a while PJ might fuck around, get a couple starts. Shout out to PJ, by the way. 53 roster guaranteed. The got his money, and he about to get them playoff checks because Jeff Driscoll definitely robbed himself of that opportunity. Shout out to PJ, man. Look, we talk about the hell of a year that Joe Flacco done had, that Myles Garrett done had. We not talking enough about the hell of a financial year that PJ Walker has had for himself because he started this year getting cut by the fucking Bears. All right? Like,
that is a step up. He did the perfect UFL quarterback thing where you play good in the spring, you sit around on the practice squad, maybe you'll play a game. You don't even got to be special in the game. You play, collect a check. Friday, that check gonna hit, and you don't even gotta do anything else for the rest of the season. You can just sit and collect checks. Ben DiNucci
Walker
is on the Broncos practice squad. He hasn't played a game this year. He's best life because he can just go back to UFL.
PJ Walker, underrated, all-time vibes guy. Underrated. Hey, vibes are always great with PJ in there. Look, they didn't defend the rookie. The only people who defended the rookie was other people in his class. You know who was defending PJ? Everybody. Everybody was defending PJ. Hey, man, y'all don't understand.
To be fair, PJ beat the 49ers and he beat the Colts.
That's true.
To be fair.
Look, we be saying that with so much irony dripping off of that sentence. They be saying that in that locker room like, hey, man, why y'all be sleeping on PJ? He beat the 49ers. Like he did that. Like, he did it. But, he was there. And they give him, look, they love PJ Walker in that locker room. Every time PJ get a new contract, because he got like 3 new contracts this year, they be walking in, yeah, PJ. They love PJ. But PJ, underrated vibes guy. Underrated. And guess what? He going to be on that roster next year, Cole. He going to be on that roster next year. Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I hope. No, I'm not going to disrespect that man on here.
Hey, we about to find out how much power Deshaun Watson has, because if he's the backup, Deshaun Watson has all the power in the organization.
To tie it all together, Jameis Winston, free agent, all-time hang, all-time vibes guy.
Hey, the Browns quarterback room about to be kicking it next year, because if they learned anything from this experience is that they need to go back to the old template once Deshaun Watson gets active. Like, yeah, we can have Jeff Driscoll on the roster right now, but let me tell you something. No, not happening.
We need PR in here.
When Deshaun Watson is on the field, the closest thing to Joe Flacco that they had was Josh Rosen. And Josh Rosen, the one that don't nobody like. Josh Rosen had people be like, yeah, man, I'd rather give Kellen Mond a shot.
Oh, Jesus. Let's not do that. Let's not talk about Kellen Mond.
Hey, Josh Rosen didn't beat Kellen Mond out.
Man. Hey, we got to make the transition because we don't want JP to be on here for 4 hours. So listen. Yes. Listen, JP, been a lot of talk about these season awards that we about to have. And everybody, we Browns fans. A lot of Browns fans watch us. Kind of feeling like the Browns might get a lot of winners here when the season awards come out. So we want to know your opinion. Who do you think is getting Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, Assistant of the Year, Executive of the Year?
So MVP to me is Lamar Jackson. I think this is the easiest shoe-in. We're gonna overthink it a lot with Lamar, and we've already begun because he doesn't have the numbers. But if you watch how he plays and how much force he has in that offense, he is the most valuable player in the league right now. I think we shouldn't even have that conversation about any other candidate. Like, this is a Lamar year. Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey. I just feel like with him leading the NFL in touchdowns on the most explosive and efficient offense that we might have seen in the NFL in a few years, he's going to get off to Player of the Year. I think Tyreek had a good chance, but he fell off of the pace of 2,000 yards with injuries. CD Lamb might make a case, but I think Christian McCaffrey's going to win. Defensive Player of the Year, we're going to be very dumb about this one too. It's Myles Garrett. Like, do not be fooled by the sack numbers. That's all. Do not fall for the play action, because people are going to say TJ Watt led the NFL in sacks. He should be Defensive Player of the Year. Don't fall for the play action. That's all I'm going to say. I have already said my thoughts on TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, and I can sum it up very quickly with an ESPN stat that was just updated yesterday. Myles Garrett is second in the NFL in pass rush win rate at 30% behind Micah Parsons. He gets double teamed at 29%, second highest in the NFL at edge. TJ Watt, 25% pass rush win rate, which is fourth in the NFL. His double team rate is 14%, which is equivalent to Brian Burns and lower than Bryce Huff. You tell me who's the more impactful and forceful player on the number one defense in the NFL. It's simple. And I think Coach of the Year is going to be Stefanski just because of everything that they've had to overcome at the quarterback position. I think Sean McVay is going to make a very strong case, as is DeMeco Ryans. But I think Stefanski getting to 11-6 with this team, with this offense, missing Nick Chubb and Deshaun, having to rotate quarterbacks every day, every couple of weeks, that is a Coach of the Year performance. Assistant of the Year, So at first I was heavy on the Brian
Bryce Taylor.
Oh God, no. I think he might be the worst assistant of the year. Well, no, that's Matt Patricia, but I
don't know who's the offensive coordinator in Philly. He's also trash.
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, you might be right. They ain't trying to replace that man. It might be Sean Desai. You know how bad you got to be to get replaced by Matt Patricia?
Yeah, for them to be like, hey, man, let's give the defense to the dude who wears a pencil with the laminated sheet.
Not only that, let's give the defense to the guy who orchestrated the worst defense of the Tom Brady Patriots.
Hey, let's get the defense. Hey, you know how good the Lions are looking? Yeah, let's get the guy the guy who made them look so bad beforehand. There's so many reasons.
Let's turn the keys over to the guy who let Nick Foles throw for 400 yards in a playoff game.
Honestly, it's crazy to me that we trusted a rocket scientist after the whole Josh Dobbs debacle. Like, we saw that thing blew up. We was like, let's give it to another one. Let's see what another rocket scientist could do.
Too smart, man. They're too smart. They start overthinking.
How do you look, the Eagles defense is the one thing you don't have to overthink. Just send them big motherfuckers forward. Like, if they doing everything but that, dog. Like, he trying to do all these stunts, twists. I'm like, just send Jalen Carter. Just get Jalen Carter lined up against a guard and let nature take its course. Like,
so yeah, my assistant of the year, I'm gonna go Jim Schwartz. I think orchestrating the best defense in the NFL has to get you and not only that, but the drastic change in this defense from Joe Woods last year to Jim Schwartz this year is a completely different mentality on this defense. I said it at the beginning of the season after the first week when they destroyed the Bengals. I was like, this team is very much different defensively because you have all these high draft picks and investments at DB. Just let them play man. You're going to have to beat us. And that's great. That's perfectly fine because you have more athletes. You're going to have to out-athlete us. You have to outdo us, and we have more dudes than you. So Jim Schwartz getting that to me.
Can I interject real quick? I just want to say one thing. I just got to make this point real quick. Joe Woods is the black Matt Patricia. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I just wanted to get that out there. I just wanted to get that out there real quick.
Is that Matt Patricia slander?
I don't think slander.
Nah, because at least Matt Patricia was good enough to fool somebody into thinking that he might be good. Like Joe Woods.
Was he good enough? Because Bill Belichick ran the defense.
Yeah. I'm saying there's no such situation that exists where you can hide the fact that Joe Woods is your defensive coordinator. Like, you could at least hide that Matt Patricia was your defensive coordinator for a couple of years. Like, there's just none. There's none.
Oh, yeah, you could
Everybody in
hide
that
it when-
defense was thrilled when he got fired.
You could hide it when you have Tom Brady, but not everybody has Tom Brady.
Now, Tom Brady would be out here like, nah, we got to do something about Joe Woods. We got to do something about that. He gave up a 14-point lead in 1 minute and 30 seconds
I remember that
to
game.
Jets Joe Flacco.
I remember
Like, now
that game.
I'm in the right offense. They got everything I need on the Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco. Nah, dog. Jets Joe Flacco. That's in a bad fit. That's having Tim Boyle breathe down his neck. That's who we had. Yes. He got benched for Zach Wilson or Tim Boyle like 2 games after that. Like, that's, yes. Joe Woods. And hey, Kevin Stefanski wins my Homeboy of the Year award for 2022 because he did not fire that man after that happened. That shit happened in week 2, and that man waited till week 18 to fire him. And that's a homeboy right there. That is somebody who
Let him collect
cares
checks.
about his guys. Because
So my offensive rookie of the year, I'm going to go CJ Stroud, but it's really close between him and Puka. I think Puka
Oh, shit.
I think
yeah, I
Puka
forgot
breaking
Puka's a
records-
rookie.
Puka breaking records is going to make it really, really close. But CJ Stroud getting that Texans team to the playoffs is probably going to. He's going to get the QB tax.
Do you
Okay.
think
Okay.
is it the
Like-
QB tax, or do you think he gets reversed Andrew Luck, where Andrew Luck did something similar, but RG3 had such a incredible first season that he got Rookie of the Year in 2012? Do you think it's something similar to that, where like Puka he's having one of the best wide receiver seasons of all time?
So I think it plays out like this. In 2020, Justin Herbert was named Offensive Rookie of the Year over Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson broke records. Justin Herbert did as well, but he is the quarterback. So the QB lift gets them over the top. I think it's going to happen this year with CJ Stroud and Puka Nacua. Defensive Rookie of the Year is actually a little difficult. I want to say Devin Witherspoon, but I don't think the Seattle defense finished well enough for him to win the award. I'm going to go Will Anderson because I think he's had a very underrated year defensively because he doesn't have the numbers. But if you go watch the game that the Texans play, that defense gets a whole lot worse when he's not in the game. And you can feel the impact he has in the run game. He's third in the pass rush win rate that I talked about earlier. He's third among all edge rushers in pass rush
as a
win
rookie?
rate as a rookie.
Hey, he
That's
gonna be a
crazy.
problem. Hey.
He gonna be a problem. He might be Miles. I don't know.
No, stop it. Stop
He's
it.
insane. He's third. He's third in NFL in pass rush win rate and double team 23% of the time, which again, TJ Watt is at 14%. I'm just gonna leave that alone.
AQ, he might be
Damn,
cold, dog.
not them being like, hey man, we were worried about a rookie than TJ Watt.
He's
That's
also
nuts.
second in the NFL among all edge rushers in run stop win rate as a rookie. So like
That's impressive. That's a
he's
polished.
insane.
That's a polished
He's
player.
cold, bro.
He's insane. And he also
Hey,
gets
man.
up. So with that edge run stop win rate, he's the only person among the top 10 in ESPN's run stop win rate metric that is over 15% double teamed. He's double teamed 16%. Max Crosby's number 1 in that, but he's double teamed 12%. So dude's pretty good. So I think I give it to Will Anderson just for the force and impact that he's had on the Texans defense.
So that trade was worth it, huh?
100 people really overthought that trade. It was
I
so
know.
like, oh, what if the Texans are bad and the Colts give the Texans give the Cardinals a high pick. They drafted Will fucking Anderson. Like, let's not overthink this.
They drafted
one of the
Will
best players
Anderson
to draft.
and also retained the ability to draft CJ Stroud.
Yeah, you
Like
didn't.
look, here's how we should have known the Texans was not going to be on some bullshit this year. When they traded their own first round pick. They traded their own first round pick because they was like, nah, we know we about to be good. Like that to me was like all right, they're on to something because they are very confident in what they have.
They have 2 franchise cornerstones that they got in the same draft. And if you want to include Tank Dell, that's 3 franchise cornerstones that they've gotten in one draft. Incredible. And then when you consider you add in Nico Collins, who's played insanely well. I thought he was good last year in 2022 before Stroud got there, but they're building something really special in Houston. And Will Anderson deserves to be rewarded for the impact that he's had on taking that defense from really bad to good or good enough.
Hey, shout out for the Houston Texans for learning from the Cleveland Browns' mistakes. Because remember when we drafted Myles Garrett and had the opportunity to just take Deshaun Watson?
Didn't do it.
Didn't do it. Traded Deshaun Watson's pick. Yeah, just to trade for him again. Post controversy. Now he's about to be 29 with throwing shoulder injuries.
It could be worse.
Shout out to look. Sachi saved us in some ways. He hurt us in others.
it could be worse. You could have drafted C.J. Henderson and Caleb Chaisson in the first round in 2020.
I mean, we also drafted Justin Herbert. I mean, not Justin Gilbert.
I was about to say
what's his
Gilbert.
name?
Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel in the first round in 2014. And
could always be worse, brother. Could always be worse.
I don't know if you noticed, but 70% chance the Browns draft a Pro Bowler in the first round. Given who got selected, 70% of those guys in that first round went to the Pro Bowl. I think like 80-90% of them were starters. There were like 5% that didn't end up doing much in the NFL, and we drafted both of them. By the way, not just the two worst first-round picks in that draft. Oh, no. Those might have been the two worst draft picks because they were both out the league in 2 years.
It's been rough, but at least y'all turned it around.
Hey, y'all got Trev.
We're working on it. We're going through some things right now.
Y'all got Trev and y'all got how y'all feel about Etienne? I don't ever get a clean read about how Jaguars fans feel about him.
Travis Etienne ran for 1,000 yards behind the worst offensive line in football. He is.
I think he's good. Yeah, I think he's good too.
I think he's good.
Hey, shout out to Urban. Give him credit when credit's due.
I'm not giving him shit. Never. Don't even lie.
Hey, come on, JP. He was right about that. He was right about that one. He was right about that one.
Giving him
he took a lot of flack for that.
He wanted Kadarius Toney. The only reason he drafted Travis Etienne is because Toney was gone.
Hey, we ain't gotta bring up that.
Hey, why you bringing up old stuff? Why you bringing up old stuff, man?
The only reason he drafted Travis Etienne was because some other team was dumb enough to take Kadarius Toney before him.
Shout out to the Giants. And by the way, I'm 100% sure Urban Meyer wanted Travis Etienne because that was one of the few names he recognized on that list of draft prospects. He was like, hey, I know him. I remember him.
He didn't even know Andre Sisco's name. He drafted Andre Sisco in the third round.
Please tell me you joking. Please tell
me.
No,
I'm so serious. They asked him, like, hey, why isn't Andre Sisco getting snaps? And he's like, who? Like, no, dude, the rookie you drafted. Like, I'm telling you, it was so bad.
Oh.
It was so bad.
Oh, man. People, really, look, JP, it's got to the point.
Really had it worse than us.
JP, this is how down bad Ohio State is right now. It's got to the point to where when I make these jokes about Urban Meyer, people get mad at me. They're like, hey, Quincy needs to stop being disrespectful to Urban. I'm going to let the team fly so I can get my hands nasty in Cincinnati Meyer.
I promise you. So I went with my friends to that game. I was on Northwestern at that time in Chicago. We drove from Chicago to Cincinnati for that game. The next day, like the next week, that weekend, I start getting the notifications, and I'm like, "Oh my God, why?"
You made it back home before Urban.
We can't go 2 days without some bullshit. It never ends.
He signed Tim Tebow in 2021.
He tried to hire Chris Doyle, who, if you don't know who Chris Doyle is, the racist strength coach from Iowa. He tried to hire him. Then three days later, had to fire him because he tried to hire him in the first place. I'm telling you, man, he did not know who Andre Sisco was. Because he was asked
that's like a serious rotational player for y'all right now, right?
He's the best safety on the team. He was asked, hey, why isn't Andre Sisco playing more? And he was like, yeah, Andre Sisco played a little bit.
Hey, did he draft Travis Etienne and did not give him that many touches?
Well, Travis got hurt in the preseason, so.
Okay. I was say, I remember something funky happening with him and Etienne.
the thing with the Cisco quote was like, yeah, Cisco's played a little bit more. We're rotating him in. The game before that, Andre Cisco played 0 snaps. He did not get into the game. He didn't even get into the game on special teams. He didn't get in general. And Urban was out here like, yeah, he played some. We're trying to work him in more. He legitimately did not know what was going on.
Urban Meyer is proof to me that you can get very far in college football if you just know the right people. Like you don't even gotta know that much. You just gotta know the right people and have the right, like, networking in college football is fucking everything, because everything about Urban Meyer's success screams to me, this is an elite networker. Like,
I think with Urban, his entire thing was he was a competitive maniac. He was always going to be working, like he worked to the bone. The reason he left and came back and left at Florida was because his body was physically like, he physically could not coach. Like his doctors told him, like, yeah, you keep doing this, you're gonna die. What happened in the NFL was he was old and realized, like, I might have to take my doctor's like considerations and like I have to actually consider that. So now that you've taken the competitive maniac away from Urban Meyer, who do you have? Like, what do you have? You have an old man who has no idea what he's doing in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And also didn't know who Aaron Donald was, which was objectively hilarious.
Hey man, could you imagine being the quality control coach sitting next to him when that shit came out of his mouth? He's like, hey man, who is this dude?
Hey, that 99 guy's really good.
Like,
that's a guy.
What?
Did you prep for this game?
I would resign right then and there, dog. I'd be like, nope, not me. I can't be a part of this.
Against the Titans in Trevor's rookie year with Urban Meyer, there were receivers running into each other on routes. Like, there was a route, Laquan Treadwell was supposed to run an out route, like 10 yards. Laviska Shenault was supposed to run it in 5 yards. They run into each other like little kids. And Rashaan Evans, who's playing linebacker for the Titans at the time, points at them during the game and just stops. He stops moving and points at them. It is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen as a Jaguars fan.
This is why I say Browns fans and Jags fans need to be cool, because I just feel like we can relate to each other in a way that other fan bases just simply can't, because these are the only two franchises that have consistently put their fans through just absolute utter hell forever. Like, no one gets it but us. Like, no one understands what it's like to just have to support a floundering, just listless franchise.
Yeah, man.
Like
Jack Del Rio had a chopping block in the locker room, and then the punter cut his toe off on the chopping block. That's just the Jaguars. That is just the Jaguars. Like,
that's nuts.
He was like, the mantra that year was keep chopping wood. So they had an axe and something in there to chop wood on. Punter goes to chop, swings and misses, cuts off a bit of his toe. He's out for the rest of the season. We can't punt. This happened in 2008. Like, this is...
Hey man, I feel like we ain't had nobody get maimed though. Like,
nah,
that's crazy.
I'm trying to think
crazy like that.
Kellen Winslow was a bit of an experience, but that was all Kellen Winslow's fault. Like, that wasn't the team. Oh no, we had the staph infection season.
We did have that. We did have
when we gave everybody life-threatening staph infection for like 2 years. That was just like, wow, we suck, man. Like, LaCharles Bentley's career ended because of that. Yeah, Joe Jurevicius' career ended because of that. Two projected to be very productive guys for the Cleveland Browns that year. Yeah, we look. I think the Browns' misery is less in like what they've done to put themselves in position to lose games, and more in just how they lose these individual games. Like, I think that's where a lot of the Browns, because we'll just lose a game for no reason. Like, it'll be like, hey man, no reason to lose this game. Let's lose this game. Jets game. Well, we've already brought up the Baker Mayfield game, the Lamar Jackson 4 interception game. Pookie Scoot. Remember Pookie Scoot? Just decided not to cover Marquise Brown when Lamar Jackson came fresh off the toilet. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, like stuff like that. Yeah, Pookie Scoot, kind of stuff like that happens a lot. But it's usually like when the obvious things are wrong with the Browns. Like, okay, nobody thought that Mike Pettin was a good coach, or okay, you hired Freddie Kitchens. Like, yeah, like that kind of stuff happens. But we have also, remember, we lost out to Chip Kelly, like shit like that. We lost out for Chip Kelly. Announced that we had signed Chip Kelly, by the way. So we had announced this in 2013 that we had signed Chip Kelly. The search is over. We have signed Chip Kelly, y'all. I remember ESPN Cleveland put out a meme with Chip Kelly looking at the scoreboard saying, does it go to 3 digits? Like all of this stuff. We were all in. We got Chip Kelly. We already fired Robert Jasinski. We fired Rob and we said, we got us Chip Kelly. Then Chip Kelly goes, actually, I'll go to Philly. And then the Browns have to scramble to hire somebody. And I don't remember who they hired that year, but they hired somebody who it was obvious to everybody watching was going to be fired in a year. Was that Mike Pettin? Or was that Chazinski that got that?
That was
it was Chud that got hired for no reason. Yeah, he just got like, hey dog, somebody need to take this job for a year. So we can hire Mike Pettin. And then we got so excited that somebody we actually wanted the coach here that we threw them basically a parade inside the building when they signed here, like a literal parade. You know who that coach was, JP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, man.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not living them days no more, dog.
We're not going to talk about that.
By the way, hey, analytics studies told us to draft Teddy Bridgewater and get Sean McDermott in that offseason. We ended up with Johnny Football and fucking Hugh Jackson, baby. Like, I can't. Sometimes, man.
I mean, that just reminds me of the Jaguars.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Tom Coughlin alienating the best members of the 2017 defense and forcing them all out in the span of 2 years. Like, that 2017 defense was so much fun, and then by 2020, only Calais Campbell was left. Because Tom Coughlin decided to be an authoritarian.
Cove, have you ever looked at this Jaguars coaching staff from 2021?
No. Just read it off to me.
Yeah.
You remember Charlie Strong?
Charlie Strong was the assistant head coach.
Yeah. Charlie Strong was on that team, dog. Brian Schottenheimer.
No.
Yeah. Brian, they had B Shotty on that team.
Harold Bevel was also on that
yes,
team.
that was the interim head coach that year.
Mm-hmm.
Tosh Lapui,
who is now the defensive coordinator at Oregon, which is like,
yes,
come on, man, like please be serious.
hey, Ohio State fans, Chris Ash.
No.
Yes. Safeties coach. Chris, his homeboy was coaching Cisco, and he still didn't know Cisco was on the team, dog.
He hired all his homeboys.
Oh, hey, let this be a lesson. Let this be a life lesson to everybody listening. Being a homie is a beautiful thing, man.
Hey,
Being
dog.
a homie is a beautiful thing.
The power of networking is nuts because it got Charlie Strong an NFL fucking job, dog.
Hey.
Shout out to Charlie Strong, still coaching at Bama. He's out here to be a defensive analyst for Bama, which is like, hey, dog, I knew you for a little bit. Here's 60,000.
That is Nick Saban's school for reforming coaches.
So we just got a super chat on this topic. JP, you'll have to help me understand what this means. But it's from Mike Walk 32 again, and he says, there was also a donut incident in the Jags locker room under Jack Del Rio.
Oh, let me make sure I'm referencing this correctly before Jack Del Rio was on some bullshit for a large majority of the Jaguars' tenure. How
could a donut lead to something crazy? I'm concerned already because I don't even know what this is about.
So
Why y'all laughing?
No, no, I'm just looking at Chris Ash's coaching history. I'm like, how the fuck did he get to the NFL, dog?
Man, we off that. We off that. JP, what's up with this donut stuff,
With this
dog?
donut situation, yes, my bad.
So a thing with the Jaguars when they were good was Tom Coughlin would like share donuts with the players like during the week, kind of like a team building thing. Jack Del Rio said, "Fuck that, y'all ain't getting donuts for shit." Just actively like it actively caused a problem because now it became like Donut Gate. And again, this is in 2008. This
So-
is very, very much like nothing good is happening right now.
Who's the quarterback into? Was it David Garrard?
It was probably Garrard. It.
So
I'm telling
wait,
you, man.
Jack Del Rio took over for Tom Coughlin, an
Okay,
out authoritarian Tom Coughlin.
So let me just make sure the coaching history. So I think it went.
Or is it Jack Del Rio to Tom Coughlin?
So it was Coughlin, Del Rio, Malarkey, Gus Bradley, Doug Marrone, Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson. They brought back Tom Coughlin during Doug Marrone's tenure to be kind of the EVP or like the CEO of the team. And then Tom Coughlin, as Tom Coughlin is a great person. By all accounts, everybody says he's just a great dude. That man had no reason to be in a locker room in 2017 or 2018. It was past its time. So yeah, lot of stuff. The donuts, the axe, Dante Fowler, getting into fights with teammates.
What?
This was in like 2016. Dante Fowler and Yannick Ngakoue did not they constantly got into it. They were not fucking with each other. They did not like each other. God, what else? Still waiting on Justin Blackman to come back.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
he's
man.
not activated yet.
Hey, Justin Blackman was special, dog.
He was cold, man. I was so excited.
I'm telling you, the Jags are really just the AFC South Browns because y'all had Justin Blackman at the same time we had Josh Gordon.
I'm just
telling you.
I'm waiting on the day. The key is still under the mat. You are welcome here.
He was cold, bro.
He was so good. He was so good.
Wasn't he the fourth pick in that draft?
He was like fifth.
Oh yeah, shout out because I remember the debate was like, should we get Justin Blackman or Trent Richardson in Cleveland? We did not know how sad that conversation actually was. We were excited. We was like, oh yeah, running back of the future, wide receiver of the future, Justin Blackman or Trent Richardson. Ended up going with Trent. Traded Trent 2 years. Best thing we did. But you know what we did with that Trent pick? Drafted Johnny Manziel. Can't keep a win. We can't keep a win, dog. We finally won one. Got out of a player when we knew he was ass for a high price, and we found a way to lose it.
Do you want to know what the Jaguars turned the Jalen Ramsey trade into?
Oh, yes. I need to know this because I've never thought about it.
We need this.
So they sent Jalen Ramsey to the Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick in 2021.
That's not that much.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Yeah, you would expect you got at least a 3rd or something out there.
Yeah. So
2 first is cool though. 2 first is cool.
So those picks were Caleb Von Chison, Travis Etienne.
Okay.
And I believe it was the Jay Tufele pick. Jay Tufele is now a part of the Bengals. He got drafted in 2021.
Oh.
Yeah, so you turn that into Etienne, who was good, Caleb Von Chison, and a player who is no longer on the team. If you just want to look at that 2020 draft class for the Jaguars, there are 4 players left on the team. Devon Hamilton, who was a 3rd-round pick. Shaq Quarterman, 4th-round pick. Daniel Thomas, 5th-round pick. And I believe Chris Claybrooks is still on the roster. He was a 7th-round pick.
It sounded like John Dorsey's draft when he was here.
Yeah, man, it's brutal. That might be like, again, Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke were drafting. To be fair, they did get.
Urban Meyer drafting?
I mean, I don't know. That was supposed to be his thing because he knew all the college players. But evidently, he didn't know who Andre Cisco was.
Are you sure?
He knew all the guys on his schedule and everybody who played for Alabama, Clemson, and.
So I guarantee you, Urban Meyer drafted based on who he recruited in high school. Because Trevor and Etienne were both 5-stars. Walker Little was a 5-star coming out of high school. Andre Cisco was Tyson Campbell was a 5-star.
Oh, yeah.
He went to Georgia. Andre Cisco, I think, was like a 3. He went to Syracuse, but Campbell, Etienne, Trevor, Walker Little, and Campbell, all 5-stars, all at one point were recruited by Ohio State when Urban Meyer was there. He only drafted based on guys he recruited. And Jay Tufele was a high recruit, went to USC. Urban also tried to recruit him to Ohio State. Like, he just recruited he just drafted based on who he recruited in high school.
My man was clicking and dragging that Ohio State file.
Hey, man, that's crazy.
Control C, Control V. That's all he did. He didn't even get to know the people.
Oh, shit. He was like, yeah, man. I got to know him when he was 18.
Not even 18. This was probably when they were 16 or 15.
I know his parents.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know his parents. He good family. They don't even like you. They chose to go to a different school.
Hey, Cole, what you gonna do when Mike Vrabel get that job at Rutgers or somewhere that's not Ohio State?
I'm gonna hit you up and be like, hey, we need to go live real quick, just 30 minutes. That's all I need.
when you gonna hear Mike Vrabel talk about in 2 years when he rebuilt Texas A&M about how he wanted to go to Ohio State, but remember that one 2013 draft? We got to hear this story now that Travis Kelce's the biggest superstar on the planet. Oh yeah, man! I cried in front of the Browns GM and begged them to draft me, and they still wouldn't do it. Drafted Leon McFadden.
You about to make me rant about the Browns, dog. Like we've had
and Barkevius Mingo that year. That's who we got in the first 3
general manager.
Barkevius Mingo
and
Leon McFadden.
Terrible head coaches, and then we finally get a great head coach and a great GM, and people trying to run them the fuck out of the city. I hate it. I hate it.
The Jaguars also did give $80 million to Nick Foles. And that lasted a year.
I forgot it. Right after giving that money to was that after you gave that money to what's his name? Blake Bortles?
Bortles didn't get extended. He got the 5-year option and they let go.
And then you were like, you know where all this money gonna go?
For $80 million. After again, Matt Patricia is my least favorite person in sports.
Okay, JP. Last thing we're gonna ask you before we have to head out. You witness your team dropped the Nick Foles bag. When you look in the NFL, what team's dropping that bag this offseason? Who's going to drop the Joe Flacco bag, the Russell Wilson? The stats actually aren't that bag. Like, who's about to drop that bag this year?
This is the easiest answer. It's the New Orleans Saints. They're always going to do it. They are always going to push it back. They're always going to. Hey, we still got it, dog. We're still in it.
They've been pushing this thing back since 2012.
Hey, we finished 8-9, 9-8. We were a game away from making the playoffs. Let's keep doing it. We're going all in, baby. We're going to make the playoffs. And they're
so you saying Joe Flacco to the Saints?
No, I'm saying Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson and the Saints would be incredibly funny. It'd be incredibly funny.
Derek Carr can't lose out to Russ, man. You can't lose out to Russ, dog. You can't lose out to Russ.
Hey, look. Derek get that locker room back. Like, I promise you, Derek will get that locker room
Derek
back there before he get Russ.
Derek might not be in that locker room. I think
Where
there's
they
a way
gonna
that
get him
they can get out of that contract this year if they want to.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're gonna get out of that. They gonna
Pittsburgh
people was
Steelers-
comparing his numbers to Desmond Ritter this year. They're
Pittsburgh
getting out
Steelers
of
starting
that
quarterback
contract.
Derek Carr. Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback Derek Carr.
No. Chicago Bears starting quarterback Derek Carr.
Don't you start. Don't start. Don't start.
don't
Don't
do
start.
that,
Don't start. Don't start. Don't start. Don't start that. Don't start.
Somebody in that top 5 is gonna do something stupid. I promise you this.
It's not
Somebody.
gonna be the Bears. It's not gonna be the Bears.
Hey, if
Denver
they don't fire
Broncos
Bill
quarterback.
Belichick, it might be him.
Denver Broncos quarterback Derek Carr.
Ooh, yeah.
Dog, talk about just like,
Mhm.
hey man, we don't want to keep Russ, so we
We'll
gonna
just do-
sign
we'll
a
do a little
more
crazy.
aggravating version of Russ.
We're just gonna sign an angry version of Russ.
Not a more. You know how aggravating Derek Carr is to watch play football. Like, because Derek Carr, the thing about Derek Carr that will piss you off when you watch him is he is capable of so much more. Like, you look at his 40 time, you like, he ran a 4.7? No, 4.66 or something like that in the 40. You're like, damn, he an athlete. You watch him throw the ball every once in a while, you're like, man, Derek Carr got special arm talent. And then you see this man get chased down on sacks. You see this man throw check down at the fucking check down. And then you lose your mind. Because at least with Jameis, I know that Jameis is maximizing all of his capabilities when he's out there. I feel like Derek Carr be holding out and he don't even be good. That's the thing. Like, yo, you hold it back. Like,
Derek Carr plays football like there are 6 downs instead of 4.
yes.
Like, yeah, we'll check it down on third. We'll check it down on 3rd and 8. Get 2 yards.
Ain't
We're gonna
nothing wrong with
It's
2
fourth-
yards per play.
Yeah, we got 4th down. We got 4th down, guys. Let's go. Let's do this again. No,
Yeah.
we got 5th down after this. There's 6 downs for us to get this first
Derek
down.
Carr is the most frustrated. Like, look, there's a reason why all these teams are like, Derek Carr's not that bad, but they all give up on Derek Carr because he is the most frustrating quarterback. Because it's like, not only does he play like that, you see it in practice all the time. Derek Carr do some athletic stuff. You like, where the shit in the game, Derek? Why every time you get pressure, you throw the ball out of bounds immediately? Like, how come you don't just hold on to it, see what happens? You know, like, nah. Derek Carr, most frustrating. Like, I bet offensive coordinators hate that man. Like, offensive coordinators hate him. Like, who else is a quarterback? Offensive coordinators, Josh Allen. Hey,
I was gonna say Josh
Sean
Allen.
McDermott hates Josh Allen, but loves Josh Allen at the same. Did you see him at halftime when Josh Allen threw that ball to the middle of the field? And he was like, they were like, why did that happen? He's like, well, we can't throw the ball in bounds, man. I don't know. Like, it just like, man.
Josh Allen is NFL Jeff Hardy. He's always gonna go through the table.
He's going
Whether the guy
championship
is
right
on,
there.
Whether
And he
the
gonna
guy is
go,
on the table or whether the guy is not on the table, he's gonna go through that table.
yep.
Oh.
And Josh Allen gonna taunt before he do it too. Like, Josh Allen gonna let you know, I'm about to go through that table. Look, that interception he threw across his body in that game I was watching that interception. I was like, this might be the greatest fucking play I've ever seen. Oh my God, that's the stupidest throw I've seen all year. Like, that's the Josh Allen experience. It's like either it's that or it's not.
It's either yes, no, or no, yes. It's no in between.
Look, man, I could not imagine if Josh Allen got drafted to Cleveland in 2018. How gray our hairs would be. I would be bald if Josh Allen were our quarterback. Because, man, could you imagine him with Odell Beckham? And also, man, could you imagine him with Odell Beckham?
Oh, that super clip, that super cut of Odell's dad made would be like 25 minutes long.
Hey,
man.
But
Hey,
also,
dog.
the highlight reel would be
Crazy.
40 minutes long.
Crazy.
Like, hey, you take the good with the bad. You know?
Hey, look. Stephon Diggs still wants out. Like, that's the thing that's crazy. Is they're so good. He's so good. It's Stephon Diggs. It's like, I still want to leave.
You know who I would rather
I can't
you know who I would
keep
rather have
doing
throwing
this.
me passes? Joe Flacco. He know what to do.
Joe Flacco keep it under control. Okay.
Joe Flacco got
Sometimes
one
John
lead.
just be throwing shit to Gabe Davis. He be like, what is the plan? What is the plan here, Josh? What was the ideology? Like, I can't imagine how pointless you gotta feel if you are the running back on a Josh Allen pass play. He don't ever throw that shit to you, dog. Like, you know how pointless Leonard Fournette be feel out there? Yeah. I'll just block. Fuck it. I'll just block. Like, what I'm gonna do? Release? He not giving me that ball.
Fuck a check down. You got 70 yards downfield. I got this.
He like, I'm either getting the yards myself or I'm throwing this bitch 40. Like, that's what I'm doing right here. Josh Allen, offensive coordinators, I know Sean McVay just be sitting there like, man, if I could just find an upgrade. He be plotting his paths out because he is so tired of being on this ride.
I think the funniest thing is in 2020, the Bills destroyed the 49ers. And after that, it came out that Kyle Shanahan wanted his version of Josh Allen. So they drafted Trey Lance. and then Kyle Shanahan said, fuck that. Nope, I don't want to do this at all.
It's time for Brock Purdy.
I don't want to do this. Get me off
Brock,
of this ride.
Brock, get your little ass up here. Yeah, just right there. Throw right there. Right.
Get me
You see him
outta
here?
here.
You see this here? Right here. Ball there on time. Do it. Trey Lance out here like, I'm trying to make plays. And Kyle Shanahan was like, never again. I am never getting a quarterback who thinks they about to go out here making. Look, you saw Sam Darnold out there trying to be disciplined. It was like watching somebody go to court that you've never seen in a suit before in a suit. That's what it was like seeing Sam. He was trying to be so good in front of everybody. He's like, look, man, I've changed. Like, I'm not about to throw this shit across my body. I can keep this job, right? Like,
Thank you. We got super chats.
Yeah, we got we actually have one that mentions Brock Purdy, although I don't really know what they mean. But I'll start going through these. This is from Aquilon. Y'all might have to ban me because I got some heat. I was really rooting for Purdy, Lawrence, Jay Taylor, and Minshew against Lamar, D'Amico Ryan, and Derrick Henry.
I
I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure either.
Those are all words.
I appreciate them words. Like,
salute to Aquilon. Salute to Aquilon because he's cool. Like he always been.
Aquilon be in the
Salute to
chat all the
Aquilon.
time.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who's asking.
The next three are also from him, so we'll just keep going down his.
Maybe he
string
gives
here.
his context.
The one following that is, I don't want to hijack the chat, but the way that McDermott got the Bills players to communicate and come together was incredible.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
they put it together. It's the best underdog story since 2001.
Something about Sean McDermott and communication.
Hey, Q.
Well,
Q. Don't you
I didn't go all the way
do
there.
it.
I went
Don't you
half
do
there,
it.
Cole. No. Don't make it hot. Don't make it hot.
you don't need him to do it because Aquilon does in the next super chat, which is if the Bills reach the Super Bowl, they'll have won 9 of their previous 11 games.
Oh no! Wait,
is that real?
That can't be real.
Is that
Hold on.
real?
I'm looking it up.
Script writers is cooking up something crazy this year, dog. Wait, this is a Shyamalan script. Like, what is this bullshit?
Sean saw the vision. He saw the vision.
Okay, so
No.
since their bye week, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They play the wild card 6, divisionals 7, championship 8.
Oh my God.
The Super Bowl is 9. They will have won 9 straight games. Oh no! What does he know?
Aquilon.
Oh
hey,
my
salute
God.
to Aquilon, dog. Hey, salute to the homie.
Oh my God.
No, Sean might have saw the vision, bro.
I have nothing. I have nothing.
I have no words.
I just
How does it work out like this?
Next super chat, dog.
We got one more from Akalon.
I got nothing, dog.
Please drop some more nuggets of knowledge. on us.
That broke me.
What does he know?
Does he know?
I think this is in regard to the Arthur Smith situation. This next chat, it's firing at 12:01 is like the owner equivalent of scoring a touchdown in victory formation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got rolled on by your rival and fired at midnight.
The lasting image of Arthur Smith is him yelling at Dennis Allen for giving up 48 points.
That's fucking bullshit. And that's the last time we'll think about Arthur Smith again. Like,
Bro, the Falcons didn't even want you to go to sleep thinking you had a chance to still be employed when you woke up. It's like, nah, bro. No, it's over. It's over.
Do you think he declined the call at first?
No. Because getting the voicemail that you got fired is infinitely more disrespectful and pathetic. Like, you just got to hear it.
See, I'm thinking like he's declined the calls because he's asleep. So he's just letting that phone vibrate. And then he gets up the next morning and is like, hey, why my key card not working? I think he left his Twitter on Do Not Disturb and then woke up and next morning he fired and he found out on Twitter.
Arthur Blank was like, Arthur, your next challenge will be about how to stop Amazon's growth in the market because you will not be in the league.
His family and FedEx, he might have some kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, next time we see him pop up, he gonna be a chief executive officer of FedEx and some bullshit like that. Like he gonna get tired of this. This hobby has gotten old to him, dog. He gonna be worried about logistics.
We got another super chat here from Ryan, and I don't know if I can actually say this on YouTube, so I'm going to paraphrase it. But he wants Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ryan Day to he wants Marvin Harrison Sr.
Self-delete?
Sorry, to delete him.
Oh, I saw this one. He wants Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Sr. To commit an act of self-defense against Ryan Day.
Who?
Why would Marvin Harrison Sr., upstanding citizen and respectable gentleman, do anything of that nature?
I don't know why anybody would predict that Marvin Harrison Sr. would commit an act of premeditated self-defense against anybody. Like, I don't understand that assumption of Marvin Harrison Sr. He's never,
he would never
ever.
I'm confused. I didn't know there was a Marvin Harrison Sr. I thought
yeah,
it was Junior.
Are we talking about the guy who was on the Colts for a little while?
No,
he was good.
No.
He was good. He was good. No.
That guy was Marvin Harrison. There was no senior after that.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I don't know. Look, all I know is that Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like he came from a very, very, very nice household. He seems like a very nice gentleman. And I couldn't imagine his father assassinating anybody, like
Upstanding citizens.
Yeah. I have nothing but respect for Marvin Harrison and everybody associated for him on this show. And that is my way of keeping everybody safe.
Listen, nothing but respect and admiration for that man and his family. That's all.
And that's why we are also a pro Clyde Edwards-Helaire podcast. Okay, we are pro Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Okay, we have. Yeah, man. We want Clyde to get that ball. Like, I think Pacheco's overrated. Get Clyde that 5. Like, you know what I mean? Let's see what Clyde can do in wide zone. We don't give him enough opportunities. And if Andy Reid doesn't give him enough opportunities, he's going to have to ask Clyde. He's going to have to answer to Clyde, man. And I don't think he wants the problems. Hey, remember when the Browns was getting remember the Browns had that story earlier this year where they kept getting robbed?
Yeah.
Hey, dog, happens again this offseason. You know who to call. Kansas City. Get Clyde, baby. That'll end it.
All right.
Woo!
I think that's a good way to end this one.
We got 2 more super chats real quick.
Oh, boy.
Never mind. Never mind.
And I did fact check it. Yeah, it is Marvin Harrison from the Colts is the one he was referring to. From Connor.
Good player. Good player. Yeah.
This just I mean, we kind of already did. This just says talk about Jameis running a play against his coach. Maybe he was behind, but we did talk about that for a while.
Big shout to Jameis.
Yeah, and then at the buzzer, we got one more from RayRags14. Did you guys hear the story? Bam and Udonis Haslam saying James Johnson beat a teammate's ass in the locker room next to the locker room for talking shit to him, so they just watched it happen.
You don't want to mess with blood sport.
Listen, man. If there's somebody in the NBA that all the other NBA players are not trying to mess with, there is a reason. They just told
I'm just going to put this one out here. The people you need to be worried about in the NBA aren't necessarily the active players. They're the coaches. Because Sam Mitchell, Vince Carter, I mean, Sam Mitchell was on the wrong side of that. But you ever hear the story of Paul Silas and I Renewable?
Shout out Paul Silas.
Hey, R.I.P. R.I.P. Paul. But
rest in peace, Paul.
If you don't know, you got to Google that one. That's one of those gems you just got to find out by listening to a ton of sports talk radio. the iRenewable, because it's not published anywhere. Nobody's written an article about this. It's just something we all know. Like, and on that note, this has been Q. In for Colb and JP. Hopefully JP will join us again soon because we had a good time here. Hopefully he is not too nervous about the contents of this podcast. But we have a good time here. Q, this is Q. Colb, you got anything to say?
Hey, shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to the Jags fans, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all, you know what I'm saying? We empathize, we get y'all. No one gonna understand you like we understand you. So we
that being said,
Jags
though,
fans.
I was ruthless on the Jaguar jokes all year. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, JP.
Sure,
I was hitting them Jaguar jokes all year. Hey, me. Hey.
Hey, JP get it. JP get it, dog. JP get it.
It wasn't a bigger joke than they were on the field. So,
hey, JP, just know this: you're not the Chargers, right? You can always be the you're not the Clippers, right? Like,
you're not the Clippers.
The Clippers. Think about this: y'all did all that embarrassing shit this year, and the Clippers blew a 30-point lead to y'all, something crazy like that in a half of football. Hey, we make all them jokes about 4 interception Lamar Jackson beating us. Imagine that being Trevor Lawrence. All right. Imagine how furious you would be.
I promise you. I was at that game. So my thing was that entire year was when the Jaguars lose, I always watched the game. But when they won, I didn't watch. I tested this. The Thursday night game against the Jets, I didn't watch the game. I intentionally went to the gym for the whole game. And they won. So I'm like, okay, maybe because they make the playoffs, the curse is lifted. I can go to the game. I go to the game. They go down 27-0 with me in my seat. You know how many people mentioned me and added me and was like, get out of your seat. Leave the stadium. I'm like, damn. I just wanted to come see my favorite team. So I end up leaving. I walk away. I walk into the concourse. I walk to the fan zone. And that's when they start to make the comeback. I saw the game-winning field goal from the Bud Light party zone.
Hey, that's a game time adjustment right there by JP.
He did what he had to do. Did what he had to do to make sure they won.
Look, at the end of the day, we not the Chargers. Like, that's the one thing we got. Because I'd rather be anything but the Chargers.
Anybody?
They got good quarterbacks and they do this shit. Like,
they've had all-time NFL players on the roster and have done this.
Hey, at least we suck. You know what I mean? Like, we suck because we suck.
Yeah,
we suck.
At least we've had only like one Hall of Famer thus far. They've had multiple.
Oh yeah, all-time players: Damian Tomlinson, Phillip Rivers, maybe Justin Herbert. All these guys, Antonio Gates.
Man, Kent State legend Antonio Gates.
Imagine achieving all of that and people being like, yeah, he's still the fucking Chargers. Like, the Browns done wiped all that shit off with them this year. Everybody like, yeah, the Browns are for real. Nah, man, the Chargers could never get to this point. The Chargers could never get us to a point where we're like,
it's always when is it gonna happen?
Like, oh, okay.
We just had one more super chat come in from somebody named One More, and it was real quick. Q. I went to Bedford. I watched us whoop y'all in baseball every year, and I might have saw you on that team, which is crazy to me.
He probably did, dog.
Hey, he wanted to get that in. He wanted to talk shit.
That's nuts. I respect it.
Hey, Greg, what's his name?
One More is his YouTube name.
Hey, shout out One More.
Shout out One More.
Why are you shouting out my ops? Why are you shouting out my ops? You know that's a rival? Like, JP don't know that's a rival. Cole know damn well that's a rival, by the way. He went to school in the same area.
Hey, you know why I'm shouting him out? Because that man paid his money to make sure to let you know.
Just to let you know.
We whipped your ass. I respect
No. He didn't even say we whipped your ass. He said, I might have watched you get your ass beat. Like,
either way, I respect that. He gave you money to tell you
the level of hating to go and pay money to tell somebody, yeah, I saw you and you got your ass whooped.
I respect that.
He's like, hey man, to think you was all one of those teams that we was beating down in high school is nuts.
Game recognized game.
I respect that. That's
and you know it's bad. I'm pretty sure I never beat Bedford in high school. I played 3 years. I don't think we ever beat them. So I gotta let that shit fly. Like, fuck. I'm trying to compact. Nah, I don't think we did it. I don't think we did it, dog. Hey, I'm pretty sure we fought him 1 year.
St. Ed's have to worry about stuff like that.
Yeah, St. Ed's has got to worry about recruiting infractions.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Go to one of them schools that recruit in high school.
Wow, can't believe Kolb has become a Go Blue fan. That's crazy.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that.
Hey. So shout out to Cole. Somebody need a super chat, man. What sports did Cole play in high school? We need to find out. All right. No. We need to find out. Okay.
You trying to get my ops? You trying to get my ops?
Yeah, I'm trying to get your ops to come out here. Where the St. Ignatius fans at?
You put out the wanted poster.
Right, yeah. He put out a hit on me. On me, dog.
Yeah. Who played Cole? Cole, what you play? I know y'all got all them fancy fucking sports out there in St. Edwards. What you play? Racquetball? You play a tetherball? Row? Was you on row?
You know I wasn't on no row, man. Come on.
Mm-hmm. You on the chess team? I bet y'all had a chess team.
What's wrong with chess?
What was the academic all-stars team? The academic, what they call it? Like the academic triathlon or some shit like that?
You talking about the mathletes? The mathletes?
Yeah, the mathletes. Was you a mathlete?
No, I was not a mathlete.
We gonna find out, Cole.
I got bad news. One more just dropped another super chat. And he said, "I'm a hater, but I support."
See, we love that. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
We love that.
Hey.
We love that.
Fuck Bedford, man. Like, I be taking it easy on Bedford, man, because I be hating on Heights more. Like, I don't like Cleveland Heights. Everybody happy for Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce. They be like, oh, yeah, ain't that great? They rep the Heights. And I'm like, fuck them both, dog. Like, I'm pretty sure both of them dudes done homered off my brother. Like, nah, man. Like, I'm not about to sit here and act like they the heroes of Cleveland. They with the Heights. Fuck them. Fuck Bedford, too. All y'all got is Holly Berry. We don't even got Holly Berry, dog. We really the trenches.
Y'all was in the trenches.
We got no celebs. Like, I'm pretty sure I make the Wikipedia page for Maple Dog. Like, it's not looking good for us as a community.
Where did Cuddy go?
He went to Shaker.
Oh, he went to Shaker.
Yeah, him and MGK went to Shaker Heights. But we don't need to get JP caught up on the intricacies of Cleveland's celebrity right here. So we're going to end the podcast. I want to say thank you to everybody who came in. Shout out Steel Toe Gang. Shout out to all my EMS workers, anybody watching this podcast. Appreciate all of y'all. Fuck Bedford, fuck Heights. And also, you know what? Fuck Eds. Y'all overrated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck Eds. Fuck you.
Hey, you can
Yes.
say that. Hey, we won that division title. We won that state championship again, though.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them y'all won? How many of them y'all won?
Went to
Okay,
two.
that's
One.
nice.
One.
That's
But you know,
nice.
it's more impressive because we did it off a local budget. You know, we didn't do it off
Okay.
that professional budget y'all got out there. You watch the St. Ed's game, they got helmets you see in the fucking pros. I'm like, why the fuck somebody got Zeniths on in high school? Somebody got a
Get y'all money
Vesus
up.
helmet.
Get y'all money up, man. That's not
Wow,
bad.
get our money up. Get our money up. That's crazy
Y'all
for
forgot
you
the
to say,
old
Cole.
Y'all also got the old Revo helmets.
Yeah, get your money up,
Yeah.
dog.
We out here walking out here with the Shut Air XPs that are too big. You know what I mean? You know, with the low budget out here. But yeah, okay, congratulations. Y'all bought another state championship. I'm glad that the donors gave y'all that. Still ain't got no useful or noteworthy alumni like Ignatius do. Y'all ain't never had a quarterback play for y'all. Yeah. Yeah, Brian Hoyer,
Hey,
right?
Hey,
Ignatius legend.
you trying to big up Brian Hoyer right
Hey, Brian Hoyer, all the other Cleveland schools. All the other Cleveland
I
schools
can't believe
got
that.
more
I didn't
notable
think that was
alumni.
the name that was going to come up.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
trying to big up Brian Hoyer right now?
Brian
dog?
Hoyer, Cleveland legend. Y'all best player in St. Edward's history is Jamie Meter or something like that. Is Jamie Meter y'all's?
No, I don't think JV Meters us.
Y'all ain't even got Anthony Gonzalez. Is that y'all's?
No, I think it's is it Haruki?
Hell,
Nakamura?
even Menor had Mitchell Trubisky. Y'all just lacking.
I know
lacking.
I know Haruki was on that Ravens team that won the Super Bowl. I know.
Don't nobody know who the fuck that is. All right,
Just
y'all
kidding,
have a
bro.
good.
Hey, we'll continue this. We're gonna continue this on Friday. Don't worry about it.
Shout out to everybody who don't have to pay for school in high school. You know what I mean? Shout out to all y'all, getting tuition, stealing good resources out of good communities so they could get richer. That's what you participated in. Shout out to that, man. Y'all have a great day.
Man trying to accuse me of being a capital.
I was about to say, we're getting into some real
Gentrifying high school sports. Y'all have a great day, man. Everybody have a
This is America. You know what?
yeah. Let me find out Cole play hockey in high school. Everybody have a great day.
Hey, you ain't got to worry about that. I definitely ain't do that.
I bet there was a soccer team. I don't know what you know about football. Yeah. Y'all had all the sports. Y'all had programs. Look, they had brochures at that school. You know, I'm sorry we haven't won as many state championships as y'all, but we don't got brochures at Maple.
Man,
But y'all
close out the pod, man.
y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. And have a happy is it a holiday? And
it
Kwanzaa
MLK
still
Day?
going?
Is
Oh
it
no,
MLK
that's
Day?
next week.
next week.
Next week. That's next week.
It is. I ain't even gonna try to ask what holidays because I'm just getting in trouble.